Hey, what's up, you guys? Ew! Ew, ew. Ew, what is all that? Oh. Basketball Jones! I got a basketball Jones!
Kill it! Okay, here we go. Woo! The bomb! What's the bomb?
Fantastic.
Blew his toe off.
Call him Bob.
Taking that toe.
Get out of my fucking game! Whose house? Mira's house. Bitch, I run this city. But only consensually. Girl, you know I'm gonna ask for permission.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the FewTrueGamers Podcast. My name is Jacob BestintheRealm Hodder, and I am joined, as always, by Trollbeard.
Why, hello.
Well, that's about as creepy as your intro.
Yay.
And Bob's still busy with adult things.
Big boy stuff.
Big boy stuff, indeed. So it's just the two of us. You're stuck with us. You're stuck with the Destiny and the Fortnite guys.
Yeah, but oddly enough, Bob somehow found adult-size Oshkosh Bagosh. Big boy stuff, little boy clothes.
What?
R.I.P. Toys R Us.
I don't even know what you're talking about at this point.
That was like a brand of like little kids like overalls and like jeans they sold at Toys R Us.
I don't know if
they're out of business now, but somehow Bob found somebody to make him adult versions of those little kid jumper suits.
I believe it. I wouldn't put it past him. So we're gonna go ahead and get right into it. I got Destiny stuff to talk about. You got Fortnite stuff to talk about. So I'm gonna play a little update video now. Yeah, we're fancy.
Yay!
So
don't get hit by that grinder, mister.
Yeah, no, I'll try not to. So Bungie has announced that there is some new stuff coming out for Destiny this month, and I'm actually really, really excited. See, the first patch this is coming from Big to Infinite. We can track up to 3 pursuits, which is nice. You hover over lost sectors, which is incredible. It is so frustrating. There are these tiny little icons on the map, and you can't click on them. And you need to go there, and you just have to keep opening the map to make sure you're going in the right direction. Well, once you've been there a few times, it's fine, but man, there's a lot of them. You kind of forget where they are. So that'll be nice. That's way too long coming. They're adding some stuff to the legendary pool for, let's see, the Fire and Floods and OBD. I think those are all heavy weapons. So now, because right now Edge Transit is the only thing freaking dropping. I don't know if you've seen those memes, Troll.
Probably not. I probably do because most of my friends in our like group chat talk about this stuff. I was like, I got the one friend who literally his only thing he does is look for the easiest like cheese tutorial to get through horse shit because he's tired of the grind, but he can't stop himself from doing it.
That's dumb. Yeah, there's one weapon, this grenade launcher. It's like it drops all the time.
Oh yeah,
all the time.
My friend has like got his 4th one like last night. I want to say.
Oh, I've gotten like 20, maybe more. So yeah, that'll be nice. The loot pool's a bit bigger. Hopefully that'll fix that. Hopefully, October 16th, my birthday. They're also coming out with a Festival of the Lost Halloween themed event. So I am excited as hell. It's going to have a costume party, and it's going to end with a quest to solve a murder. What the hell does that mean? Don't know. I'm excited about it, though.
So you're telling me it was Colonel Zavala?
Maybe.
In the library.
With the hammer.
The Ace of Spades.
With the Hammer of Dawn.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's Gears of War.
That's Gears of War.
Oh, fuck it, yeah, the Hammer of Dawn. He can use it.
Fuck. Just hear giant screaming sounds as you burn the mother fucking locust alive, the berserker.
And then October 30th, they're going to re-enable quitter penalties for Gambit. I don't know why they disabled those. So, I don't know. Well, that's good.
Maybe they were having, like, server instability. People getting kicked a lot.
I guess I missed that.
They're decreasing the amount.
Yeah, they're decreasing the amount of power ammo for Sleeper Simulant from 4 to 2, which is good because that weapon's overpowered in Gambit. That I feel like, I felt like nerfing it was bullshit, but that's a fair compromise, and because that drops the beginning of the Malfeasance quest. So those are some pretty good changes, and I'm sure there'll be other stuff too. But I played. So like I was telling you before the podcast, this week has been absolutely insane with me as for personal family stuff and working and just so much stuff. Yesterday? The day before? It was at some point in a day at a time in the last few days. Because I haven't played anything this week until today and that particular day. I played Destiny all fucking day, and it was so nice. It was just nice to just sit here and turn my brain off.
Yeah.
But then, like, the night before, I stayed up a lot actually playing Destiny, and I finally got the Sleeper Simulant, which is, just a very long quest line from the Warmind DLC. I got that, and I got the catalyst for the rifle from Warmind. So I got some shit accomplished that night. Yeah, man, that Sleeper Simulant. Did you play Destiny 1? I don't remember.
I played Destiny 1 like the first 3 months after launch.
Right. So you didn't get Sleeper Simulant.
No.
This thing, it's a fusion rifle. It just looks badass. It's got like solar panels and shit on the side of it.
Yeah, I've seen it.
I can bring up a video. Yeah, it's super powerful. It's a fusion rifle, and it ricochets rounds. It's so goddamn powerful.
Yeah, I thought when I first saw it, I thought it was like, oh, did Bungie just bring the fucking Spartan laser to Halo? Or to Destiny?
A little bit.
Kind of.
But, yeah, it's a fantastic weapon. And I've been using it a lot. It is the delete button for Destiny. Like, you don't feel like fighting that wizard? Delete him. It is so fucking powerful. Delete!
Yeah. It's like the OG baller horn.
Oh, Galahorn?
Yeah.
What'd you just call it?
A lot of people back in the day call it the baller horn because it was just like one-shotting everything.
Okay.
That's an OG Destiny 1 meme.
Yeah. Man, if they ever bring Galahorn back, people are going to lose their shit. They might be bringing the last word back, which I'm excited about. There are too many references in Forsaken to the last word. And they have the chaperone now in the game, which is a long-ass PvP quest I'm never going to accomplish. But that was in the Destiny 1, you had to get the chaperone in order to get the last word. So, we'll see how that goes. They're doing a good job right now with Destiny, man. Like, just all the little secrets, all the stuff we still don't know about Forsaken. I don't think I talked about it last week, but... Yeah, I don't think I did. But, the Dreaming City, the new endgame area, every 3 weeks... It goes through a cycle. The first week, it's like, we need to get here. We need to help the Dreaming City. The second week is like, oh, shit's getting bad. The third week is, things are really bad. The Taken are here. We have to wipe these people out. Week 1 is, hey, come here. Things are getting bad. The whole shit resets. And everyone there is like, I remember fighting them, but everything's okay now.
Yeah.
It seems like we were just here. It's fucking bizarre talking to some of these NPCs because it's like, we were just fighting shit last week, you don't remember? And apparently, I don't want to get too much into the lore because, I don't want to spoil people, but I think Queen Mara, no. Someone made a wish so that the Dreaming City would exist in a 3-week loop to just eternally feed what's underneath it. So they rely on the Guardians being there, killing and destroying things, so this thing stays fed. And to me, that is just such a fucking cool thing for a video game. You know, like something that a video game has to have. Like they found a lore reason for that. So, Bungie devs, they're killing it right now, man. Thank God, because
Yeah,
I tripled down on this game not too long ago. They're killing it finally.
yeah, I'm happy for everybody that's enjoying Destiny. I'm just never gonna be one of those people.
Yeah. I also go ahead.
I was gonna say, but yeah, it's been crazy seeing like, my friends getting back into it, seeing like streamers at checkout getting deep back into it.
Yeah.
And it's like giving them something to rotate in and out and fuck with, and like you just see like actual happiness in people's eyes, and it's like, I don't know that emotion. Why am I trying to bother these
Yes,
people?
you do. You have Fortnite.
Fortnite's fun. Good
But
stuff.
I also when Warmind came out, they did that escalation protocol with 7 waves of like a horde mode. Well, 6 waves of horde mode, then the 7th wave is a boss. But it was so fucking hard when Warmind came out that it was hard to get the 6 people together because the whole bullshit. There's still no matchmaking. That's still ridiculous. The same thing with the blind wells. There's still problems with Destiny, but now with the expansion, with us being 20 levels higher, with our light levels being like 200 something light levels higher, the escalation protocol is much easier now. And so I was actually able to get the Ikelos, whatever SMG. It is fucking awesome. Next week will be another weapon. I'm going to go ahead and get the whole armor set too. I'm going to unlock everything. Each week you can unlock the armor set. One piece of the armor set. And there's different weapons available that drop from the Wave 7 boss. So I was actually able to do that quite a few times. Even after getting my SMG, I kind of stuck around and helped some other people because it was just a fun event. And one really nice thing they did was when you get to Wave 7 and you kill that boss, you used to have to, okay, let's go start at Wave 1 again and start and get all the way to 7, which is just a fucking time killer. And now they've made it to where if you complete Wave 7, you start up the escalation protocol again and start to Wave 6. So that is pretty nice. If you fail a wave, you do get knocked down 1. So we failed once, we got knocked down to Wave 5. So that's pretty nice. Blindwell, I believe you can also just skip straight to Tier 3, which is pretty cool, rather than having to go through all the different tiers. So, good stuff. I think that's it for Destiny as far as like what stuff I've done. Getting the sleeper simulant was a lot of fun, and using it is even more fun. I played a bunch more Gambit. Got the auto rifle. That thing is badass. Got a new SMG from Forsaken that's really good. The new Forsaken weapons are fucking good, man. I am enjoying them a lot. I'm enjoying everything in Destiny a lot right now. So, you've been playing Fortnite?
Yeah, as we were talking before the stream, and we were like, "Hey, you gonna talk about Fortnite?" Then, as you're talking about Destiny, I was also reminded of more things that happened this week with Fortnite. So when Season 6 started off, there was all of Season 5. There was a cube that was rolling around, leaving these giant glyphs on the map, like runes on the ground, and they had anti-grav zones around them. So if you jumped in it, you floated for a while. And
I do want to say, I look forward to you telling me all the crazy shit happening in Fortnite every week.
Yeah, because it's like it's fucking insane. Like the sheer like genius of them trying new random weird shit and coming up with new stuff.
I try and avoid Fortnite news. It's fucking impossible. But
yeah, it's everywhere. Like that's all IGN has is Fortnite memes. If you look at their Twitter or Instagram,
It is different though when somebody's like, "There's a cube in Fortnite," and you're like, "That's fucking cool," and then you, the player, actually tell me about it. But
Yeah.
I do look forward to your Fortnite weekly updates.
But yeah, so with the cube, you know, it rolled at the end of the last season into the loot lake, the center of the map. The spot on the map people were kind of annoyed with because there's no mobility unless you waste a lot of materials to build through the water. You're just like walking slower and everybody's just jumping like fucking idiots
Oh,
to
okay.
keep
Let's see that.
some momentum because the water slows you down,
Yeah.
but you have full momentum when you're out of the water. But anyway, so the cube rolled over into the lake and everybody's like, all right, where's this fucking cube going? It dips into the lake. And then the entire lake for the entire last week of season 5 was like bouncy grape Kool-Aid. Like you'd, you know, just land on it. He's like doing, 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 doing. You just see people just bouncing across. It would bounce grenades. It'd bounce rockets. As you see in the loading screen here, there's the cube. If you shot it, it fucking damaged you with like a thunder strike. It was cool.
Yeah.
It's still at the bottom of the floating island. So this season,
Do you have cowbell?
I have the llama bell. Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah. The emote game is
Yeah.
legendary for Fortnite, man. Like I told you yesterday, they added a T pose, so you can assert your dominance.
There you go. There you're dancing.
Yeah, I'm wearing a mask.
Well, you're
with a-
dancing. Also, you're dancing.
Yeah. Just some man. The music goes, man.
That's the other cool thing. I remember when I started playing Fortnite, and you'd walk by somebody dancing, and then it's like, oh fuck, there's music.
Yeah.
No other game does that, but it's like, why not?
Yeah, like that's kind of become a meme lately for Fortnite.
Yeah.
Is like the default dance moves. Like people want, there's no gold like legendary emotes in the game.
Oh.
People are saying, "Hey, add a bass boosted version of dance moves as the only legendary emote." So there's just this awful, like insane distorted bass as you're doing the dance, and it gets more distorted the more kills you get. It's like bass boosted dance moves is a meme on everything Fortnite these days. Anyway, so like I said, the lake rose up and the island, the little house, the mansion on this little clump of land in the middle of Loot Lake started floating in the sky. As you see on the video now, the bottom right.
Yeah.
The island has started moving.
Oh shit.
So the island is now traveling across the map to all the little runes in the ground.
Oh.
And it's picking the rune up temporarily, and then it drops that piece of land back down and moves on.
Huh.
So everyone's just like, okay, what the fuck is this going to do?
Now,
So
is
it's like
this
this-
happening while people are playing the game?
Yeah. So like whenever the cube would move last season, people figured out that on certain minutes of certain hours is when the cube would roll. So
For
people would jump
everybody,
it
no matter what
Yeah.
server you're in.
server wide.
Okay.
Like when the rocket launched at the end of season 4 to cause the rifts that were season 5.
Oh, right.
It was a universal, hey, everybody in the world, go watch the rocket launch at this time.
Okay, so if you missed it, you were shit out of luck.
Yeah, you just had to go watch, a stream of somebody else, reacting to it.
That's pretty cool.
I was at work, but I happened to be at a dead spot, and I looked down at my phone, and I was like, oh shit, rocket launch. And I was just standing in the back at work, like, with my headphone on, just like listening to everybody losing their shit as the rocket launched. But before the
I can't help but wonder, so Bungie can't fucking let us matchmake for Escalation Protocol and Blindwell, yet goddamn fucking Epic can like launch a rocket on every one of their servers at the same damn time?
Yeah.
Alright, I'm done with Destiny.
Yeah. So like
God damn it.
before the rocket launched, like the whole week leading up to the rocket launch, at like I want to say like the 29th minute of every hour, at like the half hour, something like that. There's a specific time in the middle of an hour. Like every time at that point in the hour, you heard like the like the raid sirens that the missile's about to launch. And that was universal across all servers. So you just be like, before people figured out what it was, you just be like strolling through a field, hoping not to get snuck up on a shot. And I'll see your you're like, oh, what the fuck is going on? That. And now it's just like absolute insanity of you just see the island moving every couple of games you drop. It's moved a little bit. Like, holy shit, where's this island going? Because if you jump into the maelstrom that's at the bottom of the island, it lifts you up and throws you up in the air to where you can deploy your parachute again. So now it's like this giant flotation device that gives you high mobility, to where people will just creep and just spin, just glide around a circle around the giant island, looking for people. If people come up there, they land and shoot them out of the air.
Right.
But yeah. So in the video here, I'm playing with a friend of mine and a guy he met on Discord that plays on PC. So during this last week, I did my first bit of crossplay between PS4 and Xbox. So that was cool.
It looks like it's not working out for you, but here he comes.
Yeah, this is the PC guy, which you could already do this before. I don't remember if I kept that one little chunk of when I was playing 4-man squads and another guy I met through Discord jumped in on his Xbox. I don't know if it was an issue on his end or if an issue with like Fortnite currently, but I couldn't hear him talk. So I don't know if he actually plugged in a mic or if shit was being weird.
Right.
But it worked, flawlessly, like just loading up anybody else.
Yeah, I was talking to my uncle, and he's like, I got 4 TVs in the game room now, and we can all play that Fortnite. Yeah, Fortnite.
Yeah.
I already knew. I was like, what else? It's Minecraft or Fortnite, and I think the kids are done playing Minecraft for the most part. And I was like, oh, cool. I could bring over my Switch and play. And he was kind of like, oh, we have Xboxes. I was like, well, right, but there's crossplay. He had no idea there was crossplay.
Yeah. Yeah, all you got to do is, to talk. So I was telling the guy, like, shit, if you can't figure out your mic situation, jump into Discord, and I'll just be the relay between you and the other people.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because, I've got it set up to where I can listen to both the PS4 and my PC at the same time.
You're building yourself a little hut here.
Yeah.
Healing up. Damn. Yeah, see, that's something that's just so beyond me.
Oh, yeah. Like, it's crazy, the more they've added new features, because currently there's, like, a weird bug exploit for, like, the Builder Pro format to where, like, sometimes it's weird. Like, if you just hold, like, the button, it places that type of, wall or floor or ramp. But, sometimes when you're trying to switch between, like, a wall to a ramp to a wall to a ramp, you see, like, the push strategies and a lot of these crazier videos. Sometimes it wouldn't react the way you want, and you're just sitting there looking at the piece not building, and then you don't realize you're holding forward still, and then you fall down and take some damage, and you're just pissed.
Oh, shit.
So apparently, I have learned now that if you hit the other button before you let go of the first button, it not only places all the time, but it places faster than if you had just like double clicked the button. So I was like, that seems like an exploit. That's weird. Because the regular function doesn't work all the time. This function works better than if the regular function worked all the time. What's going on here? So, yeah, the crazy thing is, man, jumping into Fortnite, like, I'm above average, I'd say.
Yeah,
but
I would say so, yeah.
It's just crazy to me when I don't play it for a few days and I run into, like, a group of kids that have, like, this is the only thing they do now. And I'm like, fuck, man, I remember those days of being the Titanfall 2 Savage or the Rainbow Six Siege Savage,
2 golden chests? See, I
yeah.
never get that lucky.
Well, that's a regular spawn for those areas.
Oh.
Like, it's almost always one. Sometimes you get both up there. Yeah, like knowing spawn locations for chests
Oh yeah.
is like super critical. But yeah, man, like it's crazy seeing the kids that are just absolute maniacs.
Yeah.
That are like raw and warmed up at all times, and here's sad old man, dusting himself off, jumping back into the old Fortnite.
I'm almost looking forward to the game that dethrones Fortnite so that I can start playing Fortnite and not play with those kids.
Oh yeah, that's
like,
the
I
crazy
have a chance
thing.
now.
Yeah, like any game with PvP that's been out for more than a week, like you always run into just an absolute animal. You're like, what do you mean? Because I was happy talking about Call of Duty to somebody, and I was like, my favorite thing I used to do in Call of Duty was break the in-game scoreboard. So like the in-game scoreboard would only show 4 digits. So if you got more than 10,000 points or more, like it wouldn't show any more. That was always a good feeling. Is like when you're just dominating that hard, for the game can't even keep up with your score.
Yeah. Jeez.
Then you get out to the lobby and it shows you your real score. It's like, oh shit, I had 13,000. Cool. So I'm looking forward to Black Ops 4 here Friday the 12th. Because like that's kind of become I call it the Swiss Army knife of shooters. It's got a better PUBG.
Yeah.
They've got better Call of Duty than it's been in a while. They've got Call of Duty's version of fucking CS:GO now. They got horde mode zombies with way more shit to do in that now. It's like it's everything but Fortnite in one package, basically.
I think it'll be interesting when it comes out to see if people actually complain that there's no campaign. I don't think. I mean,
if you'd played some of the previous campaigns, like I'd talked to like dozens of people I'd met in real life, like, hey, did you see this thing? And Black Ops 3, like the psychotic, weird, fucking mental mindfuck that game tried to be at the end. Like, what are you talking about? I never played that shit.
I started playing Black Ops 3's campaign and it was like, all right, this is fine. And they're usually like Modern Warfare 1 and 2, I think, and Black Ops had good campaigns. And then, like, I think that was kind of, after those, that was kind of the beginning of, like, we'll half try. But, yeah, they make all their money in multiplayer. They know what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah, because that's the thing, is, like, Advanced Warfare had a crazy campaign of, like, futuristic, almost.
Yeah, like space battles and shit, didn't it?
And Infinite Warfare was the one before World War II. That was the last OG studio game. Advanced Warfare is the one with Kevin Spacey, the 17-year-old boy abuser, apparently.
Right. Yeah, I'm looking forward to... you're getting Call of Duty, right?
Oh, it's paid for.
Okay, cool.
Already.
So we'll have that to look forward to.
Yeah, also, that'll be many hours of my life, unfortunately.
I already pre-orders. I pre-ordered the Swindle.
Yeah, man, the Swindle's so fun. I thought about reinstalling it and making another run or two, just because it's one of those games that's like it's going great. You're like, sweet, yeah, fuck, like you make one mistake and then you're like, God damn it, I fell to my death. Like, what do you mean? Like, I was like finishing this heist, so I would have got my jetpack and been able to avoid all this damage. I was right there, you bastards. Yeah,
I'm looking forward to playing that. I started playing. We'll talk about. This is a weird section. I don't know where to put this in. What I've been kind of playing. Okay, well, are you done with Fortnite? We'll go into what we're playing.
Yeah, I think we're done. It's just happy to see crossplay. Good times.
So I'm gonna go ahead and we'll play another cool little video. All right. What's up, Unlocked Loki? Hello. Yeah, unlock Loki in the Mixer chat. So, I started playing, I'm only going to briefly talk about this because I got a few other games to talk. I got a few games to talk about this week, believe it or not. I played, Subsurface Circular a little bit today. And I don't know if I can get into that game.
It's very text-based and
Yeah.
weird. But like if you make it through, it's a really cool character drama
Yeah.
based on like faceless, nameless robots.
I think that's the problem. I don't give a fuck about any of these robots. So I don't know. I'm gonna keep playing it. I'm gonna play it for another. I'm gonna try and figure out like what's going on, and then I'll kind of decide if I'm gonna keep going or not. And then the Swindle. Looking forward to that. That'll be next week though. But so today I have so many mobile games installed on my phone. I realized I was like, all right, well that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna play some of these mobile games. That was a fucking mistake. There are so many shit games right now. That just on mobile that are just so bad. And one of them I played today was Dig Defender. And it's just a tower defense game. But
You've already said the magic word for me to hate it.
The only slightly interesting thing is like you dig a path. So that's about it. Then you build towers. And like as you can see, it looks like garbage. I can't figure out what happened to me that I installed this game. Like, did I see an ad that made it look way cooler than it's supposed to be? Or I don't even know. I don't know.
Did you think, hey, this looks like a bad mobile version of that Double Fine tower defense game, Trenched, or whatever the name
fun.
Whatever the other name is, they had to change it to because that's not the name anymore.
What?
Yeah, they had to legally change the name for some reason.
Really?
Yeah, that game's in the Game Pass, and I see the new name.
Oh, no, it's called Iron Brigade.
Yeah, they had to change it to Iron Brigade.
Had to change the name?
I forget why. But it came out on the 360 as Trenched, and then they had to change it.
It's so weird. Oh, there's a war-themed Portuguese board game, Trenched, owned by Rui Alipio Monteiro.
Well, that explains it.
Okay, and they wanted to make it into a video game. And he owned the trademark. Shit!
And that never happened. But hey, we got a new name for Double Fine's game.
I think Iron Brigade's better anyways.
Yeah, it's a better name.
That's a fucking good game. But that's all I'm going to talk about Dig Defender, because it's not good.
Yeah, it is the most generic of generic, it looks like.
Go play Bloons. That's a good tower defense game.
Aren't they on like the 7th one of those?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. I still play Bloons 2 or whatever the hell I own whenever I play it. But there are good, I mean, and actually the fact that it's a bad tower defense game, like, you don't have to do much to make yourself a decent tower defense game. So, yep, fuck that one. I also played a game called Darkness Rises, which is pretty cool. For a mobile game, it's very pretty. I would say it's along the lines of a PlayStation 3 game. And it's a hack and slash. You have abilities and a dodge. Let me see if I can find some gameplay. Yeah, it's a hack and slash. You got some abilities. This is the warrior class. There's a berserker class, which is what I play. I think there's a rogue class and a wizard class. And you move with the left thumbstick thingy, touch part of your controller, and then you tap the buttons to do the abilities. You can also hold. Actually, you don't have to tap. You can hold. I figured out today. And you get buttons, and you get better gear, and you get better stats, you get better skills. It's like, as far as mobile games go, it's solid. I've enjoyed playing it. I'm going to play more of it.
I'm going to say this kind of looks like that old, was it Infinity Blade or whatever?
I never played that. I remember that was at Dave & Buster's in like a giant 50-inch TV. No,
Yeah,
because
they made
Infinity Blade, I think
two
you
of
just
them.
swiped on the screen a bunch, didn't you?
Yeah, it was all swipes.
Yeah, this is like a traditional game.
Yeah, this looks like just an evolution of that format.
Yeah, a little bit, but yeah, just yeah, like I said, just a traditional game. Yeah, there's abilities, there's bosses, obviously. So I enjoyed the hell out of it. I was surprised. It's got your typical mobile game bullshit with like daily logins and whatnot, and you have to have certain currencies, and they want you to buy the currencies, that kind of stuff. But it's free, so I'm not gonna complain too much.
I want to
yeah.
just mention. So thinking about that Infinity Blade, I wanted to say, like, I thought initially People Can Fly made that, but no, it was Chair. Chair are the guys who made Shadow Complex. What legends! Shadow Complex is fucking great.
I've never played Shadow Complex.
And also, speaking of Fortnite, there's a Shadow Complex poster that pops up inside some of the buildings.
I saw that actually in your video.
Yeah.
It was in your video. That's kind of cool. Oh yeah, well,
yeah, they've got a poster of like the OG floating map from Unreal Tournament,
Epic
and they've got
published that then, because I thought that Epic made that.
Well, Epic owns Chair.
Okay, gotcha.
And Epic also owns People Can Fly.
Right, I knew that. And the other thing I played, that's shit and you shouldn't play it, is Assembly Line. Fuck off. Is Assembly Line. And this game is exactly what it sounds like. You have a starter thing that you choose a material, and you have a finisher thing that sells the material, and you're supposed to be able to make that thing better to sell it for more. Problem is, you in order to make any money, you just have to place them next to each other like they're doing in the video, and just let your phone run for ever. Because you have to get up to 30,000 credits to get the upgrade thing. And it's just I understand eventually being at that point with a mobile game where things take a long time. But
not right off the bat.
Don't let me... I don't have to fucking buy anything? I can't do anything forever? Get fucked. No.
Yeah, that looks immediately annoying.
I like when I play a game where I can all right, that's how that works. I'm gonna buy this, and this, and then I'm good for a little while, and I can upgrade this little thing. But no, this one you just have to sit there. That's just immediately a bad flaw. Let's see, one game that I am absolutely addicted to is this Bricks and Balls. It's got a great title. It is literally, you aim, you shoot, you hit the block, you have 60 balls, and they can ricochet and stuff, and you have to hit the block 50 times, 60 times, whatever number is inside of it, and then it breaks. They move down every turn. Some blocks can only be broken every other turn. It's this is my kind of mobile game. This is what I feel like mobile games should be like. Just simple. What's that?
I said this is Arkanoid and Tetris had a baby.
Yes, absolutely. But there's something satisfying about getting these little BB things to just fly around the screen and destroying shit, and it's a blast. It's it's not a good game, but it's a good mobile game.
Yeah.
These are the mobile games that I tend to like, where I can just kind of shut my brain off and play something. I enjoy it. Oh shit, I ran out of stuff. No, I didn't. What? Okay, hold on. I forgot to pull up the video. I also played for about an hour or so. Whenever you messaged me, I was kind of deep into it, and I was like, I'm just going to keep playing for a minute. Is this Dragalia Lost? This new
Oh yeah, the
Nintendo
new
game.
Nintendo IP mobile phone game.
It's really good.
You're the first person I've heard remotely have anything positive to say about it.
Really? Well, okay. I'm going into it on the perspective of it's a mobile game. So I don't know if other people expect more because it's Nintendo. I guess I kind of did too. Um, Here we go. But I enjoyed the Fire Emblem game, the mobile game. It's pretty fun.
Heroes.
Yeah. And this is kind of similar to it where you have that unlock system where you have to like summon people. The combat's fine for a mobile game. Let's see if I can find any. You drag to move. You quick drag to like swipe to dodge. And you just kind of tap to attack things. You have a party that just attacks on their own. You can turn into a dragon. You have different abilities. You have different enhancements you can apply to the character before the fight. It's like, I don't know, like people don't like it. I haven't even looked into it.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people, but granted, now a lot of those are professional, like game reviewers and stuff like that. People that have played a lot of, I guess they think, better mobile games.
Okay.
I did not enjoy it. But also, again, it may be something closer to like my issue with Destiny is like, I see all the problems with it, but it was never going to be a game I liked anyway.
Right.
It wasn't meant for me.
Like it's got, little cute characters. There's a large variety of characters. I've got like a samurai, a dude with a rainbow bow for some reason. The sound
Inclusion.
in it the sound in it is really good. The music's really good. The voice acting, as far as I can tell, is pretty good. It's not terrible. The story seems pretty interesting, at least interesting enough that I'll continue to play it every once in a while. I'm not saying this is like gonna change the fucking mobile world. I don't know if people were expecting. Maybe they were because it's Nintendo.
Yeah.
But it's I don't know. It's got a lot of polish. It looks good.
Yeah,
plays
those
well.
character designs are pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, as far as like generic anime look characters.
There are worse mobile games that cost $20.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know if some of the people who didn't like it just were expecting too much. It's got all your typical anime, or not anime. I was just say anime tropes. It's got video game tropes. It's got the anime tropes too, I guess. But I left a bunch of notes here. Amazing voice acting. I like the graphics. I don't know if I should say amazing voice acting because I don't actually know. It's good to me. You can transform into a dragon. There's lots of different dragons. There's lots of different weapons. You build a team. Let's see. Eventually, there's like a little castle down there you can unlock. I don't know what that is, but I'm super interested. It has a manga built in. There's like 13 chapters already. And it looks like a really well-drawn manga, so I'm probably going to read that.
Yeah.
I don't know. As far as like Nintendo getting into the mobile game with Mario and Fire Emblem and now that, and not to mention fucking Animal Crossing, I think they're killing it. Like this is kind of your standard mobile game with all the mobile game bullshit like Fire Emblem.
Yeah.
But it's good.
Also,
little story segments.
Unfortunately, no one wanted Mario Run.
I like Mario Run.
Well, I'm just saying, no one paid for it. Like, it failed financially.
Oh shit!
Like Fire Emblem Heroes is the only one they've had success with currently.
Probably because it has that mobile game bullshit.
Yeah, because that's what the market in Asia wants is that mobile game bullshit. Like the sheer like dollar spend, like the Asian gamer market and like China, Korea, and Japan throws at gotcha shit like that is insane. There's a reason why Tencent bought out the guys who make Clash of Kings and Clash of Clans.
Right.
Or Clash of Clans and Clan Royale, that company. Because that company is literally worth like $500 million or more.
Yeah.
Which it reminds me of the thing we were talking about last week in regards to Bungie and their patent. I looked up that company, NetEase.
Yeah.
They paid $100 million to Bungie up front for them to develop a new project. And apparently $100 million only gets you like a minor stake in Bungie. It's like, how much fucking money is Bungie worth?
Oh, probably a shitload.
Like they shouldn't be though. Like I don't see the valuation there.
I mean, not to mention Destiny, that's done extremely well. Don't forget about Halo.
Yeah, but that's Bungie has no control of that. They don't own that.
They still made it.
Yeah, but what have you done for me lately?
Destiny 2.
Well, this conversation ends here. like, sir, I asked for a bowl of cereal. You shit on my nostrils.
You're welcome. I did play one game that was not mobile. I forgot about this. Thank God I booted up my Switch right before we started. I bought King of Fighters 94. And man, I have not played a KOF game in a while. These games are so good. I needed a fighting game on the Switch. I bought that weird Street Fighter game that was like $30, not the collection. The other one.
The original like Street Fighter 2 port?
I think so. And it came with like a bunch of weird features.
Yeah, well, it has a lot of gallery stuff.
And it had like a weird like Hadouken mode thing.
Oh yeah, the Joy-Con like motion Hadouken thing, yeah.
Yeah. And then they announced the collection, so I think that I called Nintendo and had them refund that. They'll do that sometimes.
Yeah, like, hey man, let me get that money back.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been playing King of Fighters, like it's really good. This is like probably one of my better purchases lately. I'm really, really enjoying it. Because I bought fucking Final Fantasy 15 portable, whatever, and I've barely played it. I know Bob's played a bunch.
Yeah.
And instead I've been playing this. Yeah, I really enjoy King of Fighters. Like I said, I just needed a fighting game on the Switch. Just anything. And I think I got... Because I bought something else. Oh, I think because I bought Final Fantasy, and then I bought The Swindle. So I had a bunch of gold or whatever built up, so I only paid like $1 for this.
Yeah.
So that was nice.
Going back to mobile games, did you see the newest trailer for the Ghostbusters World?
Oh no, I've never heard of that. I don't.
So there's a Ghostbusters Pokemon Go game coming out.
Yeah, I heard.
And man, it looks like a Pokemon Go game I would actually play. Because guess what? You can battle people. It's something you do than just... Yeah, they're straight up like 3D fucking ghost battles, PvP.
Yeah, I like playing Pokemon Go every once in a while. Like, I will play Pokemon Go for like a week. I'm like, oh yeah, this is fun. And then after a while, it's like, I haven't progressed.
Yeah, there's nothing here. But yeah, like I'd never installed Pokemon Go because I knew immediately I have no interest.
It took me a long time to install Pokemon Go. Like I didn't. Oh no, I think I did initially, and then like I caught a couple, and I was like, "This is it." This isn't a game. This isn't Pokemon. This is like missing all of the interesting things about Pokemon.
Yeah, this is missing the only thing I liked about Pokemon was fighting.
I think they're actually missing out on all kinds of shit with Pokemon Go.
Oh yeah, there's way more other problems, especially since I live kind of rural, and that's a fucking you're just sifting through fucking chaff at that point, looking for a tiny morsel of wheat.
But why at that point would you not put in battle? I guess there's like the gym thing, which I've only done like once, and I don't understand what I did. And I've never done a raid. But yeah, why not do battling with your friends? And why not with the AR mode? Or just not even necessarily with the AR mode. Why not let you train and play with your Pokemon like Hey You Pikachu? and then they get more powerful, because that's like the big thing in Pokemon that we've never really been able to do is train, like actually train the Pokemon. So I think they're missing on all kinds of opportunities with that game.
Yeah. But so the reason why I mention it is because I met you because we were both fans of Kind of Funny.
Yep.
And Greg Miller is in his Ghostbusters outfit in that commercial.
I haven't actually listened to the audio. I only watched when they had it on in the background.
But yeah, so like when you actually get to the parts of that trailer that the actual game, it's like, yeah, they've got like, shooting the lasers at the ghost to weaken them, throw the trap out to catch them like Pokemon, at the Pokeballs. But then it's just straight up like, all right, I got a level 18 Slimer and a level 12 this guy and a level 12 that guy. Like I said, it was like 3-on-3 team battles of fucking ghost on ghost PvP, man. I was like, what?
Yeah,
that
cool.
Actually looks kind of cool.
I didn't realize that Greg was going to be so prominent in it.
Yeah, like, hey, there's a guy near where we need to film this commercial that has an entire already customized suit for Ghostbusters. Like, oh, and he's also got a SAG card now. So, like,
really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, because I think he filed for it back when he had done a bunch more of like the game voiceovers.
Oh, okay. Okay, see, I haven't seen
actually,
any of
no,
this.
I think it was because he doesn't have a SAG card yet. Is that he was a scab. This was a non-union job.
Battle other players.
Yeah, dude, like it's straight up like better Pokemon Go, but it's Ghostbusters, so it won't be as successful because there are psychopaths that just want Pokemon.
This looks like Pokemon Go in like 2 years when they actually add some of these features.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like straight up team battles, man. It's crazy.
And
there's a big boss fight, and I felt bad. It's like they're making an objectively better game from everything I can see, and they're not going to succeed as Mo.
I don't know. They might.
It's like Ghostbusters does not have like Pokemon is literally the most financially successful franchise of all time. Pokemon has made like $700 billion. Like, Pokemon as a franchise has made more than a lot of countries have ever.
It may not be as big as Pokemon Go, but
I mean, it'll
be successful.
It'll stick around for probably 2 years. Like it'll have its crowd, but it's not going to literally break cell phone networks in certain cities because there's like 80,000 people jumping on it on day one.
Yeah. Yep, I pre-registered for it. Yeah, man, that's exciting. I just assumed it was just the Pokemon Go ripoff, which it is, but with a bunch more features.
With cooler stuff.
I think that it'll be even more exciting for me if there are literally hundreds of different ghost models and types. That's exciting.
Yeah, because they have free reign to make up whatever the fuck they want at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of the things that like is interesting to me about Dragalia is every time I'm getting these characters, I'm like, oh shit, you look cool. I don't know what you are. And by the way, I forgot to mention, it did say that you're going to get to learn about their characters, these random characters you're unlocking. You get to learn about their backstory after, I think you level them up or something. So that's kind of cool.
Oh, they open up like, loyalty quests or whatever from like OG, but like BioWare games.
Maybe it was some kind of like I think you just learned about the character's lore or something. So yeah, you can be like, oh, that guy looks cool as shit. He's gonna be in my team, and I'm gonna learn about his lore. So it's kind of neat. But that's what I've been playing this week. Let's see. So you've been playing Stuntman?
So Stuntman Ignition was part of the Games with Gold this month.
Oh, okay.
So like I clicked through and I found some new stuff from Game Pass, and I downloaded all the new free games for PS4 from PlayStation Plus, and Games with Gold. And man, like playing this, like, because I was thinking about the history of Reflections. Reflections are the guys who made the original Driver, Driver 2, Driver 3, and the first Stuntman.
Okay.
They did not make this game. This company you see that made this game is called Paradigm, I want to say. They're the people who made Pilot Wings 64.
I'm not even sure what that is.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Like it's like there's only like 3 launch titles for the N64, and Pilot Wings is one of them.
I was too fucking young to care about launch titles.
God damn it! I guess I'm old. Anyway,
Wait,
Pilot
what year
Wings
did the 64 come out?
like 96.
So I would have been 6.
7? Fuck. God damn! I realize I am like quite a few years older than you say that. I was like pull a knife.
Fair
I was
enough.
10. So wait, you're what? Gonna be 28, I guess.
Yep. I was born in 1990.
So yeah, I was 10 and guy stabbed me in the leg.
Damn.
Like it was a small knife. It wasn't that big of a deal.
All right,
But,
badass.
Well, no, like legitimately, it's just like he missed everything vital. It was like 4 stitches, and I had to get a new pair of jeans.
So Stuntman.
But yeah, so I played this after something we'll talk about in a minute. After Forza Horizon 4, because like man, I remember liking Stuntman.
Yeah.
And I remember trying out Ignition, but I don't remember if I ever really played Ignition. So I started it up, and I was like, "Oh wow, they really did just like do ripoffs of like every like goofy action movie that had like car scenes." So like the very first story you do is like a straight up knockoff of like Dante's Peak and like the Pierce Brosnan volcano movie.
Yeah.
And then there's a knockoff of like the Dukes of Hazzard.
Now, are you saying this in a good way?
Well, like they're all goofy and silly, and like you're playing a guy who's a stunt driver, you know.
Yeah, I like the concept of the games.
But I had forgotten like how terribly this game played.
Huh.
As far as like the driving is super weird. Like it works well enough in most areas to actually complete these challenges. And the game itself is, you know, perfectly functional. But yeah, it's just like it's just like mid-grade low budget THQ.
Damn.
RIP THQ, long live THQ.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's a reason why this company got shut down like literally as soon as this game shipped. Like Paradigm died like the month after this game came out, apparently.
I feel like making a game about being a stuntman would be a lot of fun. Like, you could probably make some pretty cool shit with that.
Yeah, like I said, the original Stuntman was really cool because
Yeah,
they
I
just
never
used
played
like,
it.
it was the same driving, you know, physics mechanics as the old Driver 1 and 2,
Okay.
but with a kind of similar setup to this, with just like older presentation, essentially, like PS2 era car driving and not early Xbox, you know, 360.
Yeah, the driving doesn't look too good.
No, it reminded me
man.
of how many like games used to be simpler for the worst reasons.
Yeah.
Because what was it? Awful launch 360 game that was like car combat.
Oh.
They made 2 of them.
Where is it?
Like,
Hold on. I think I own it. Where is it? Oh, it's hidden. I know what you're talking about. That game's fucking fun.
yeah, it was cool. Full auto.
Full auto, yeah.
But it was so like simple. and not good.
I think the fact that it is simple makes it pretty good.
Yeah, like it's functional.
Yeah.
But like the driving wasn't great, but it looked cool, especially at that time. Like,
oh yeah, games like that was a tech demo for all intents and purposes.
And then you get to the second one, like, oh no, like nothing of this premise holds up anymore.
Yeah, I didn't know there was a second one. I had no idea.
Yeah, they made a second one, but the thing this started reminding me of is like how many hours I spent playing the old Driver and Reflections games, because there was a weird point in my life when both two companies that start with the similar word, Reflections, Remedy, like both of those games are like, both those companies made so many games I played way too many hours of, because, Remedy made, the Max Payne games, and then Reflections made Driver. Then I was going to say, then I was thinking about like Reflections, because Reflections is one of those companies that got bought up and merged into Ubisoft.
Oh.
And they've been, working as like, secondary studio on a lot of projects. And then I thought about it once I realized this like a year or two ago. I was like, did everybody with talent leave Reflections when they got bought up by Ubisoft? Because every fucking driving system in every goddamn Ubisoft game is literal AIDS. Like,
oh, and like modern ones?
All of them. Like, the first Watch Dogs was upsettingly bad.
Yeah, I didn't like Watch Dogs.
Watch Dogs 2 is just okay.
Okay.
Ghost Recon Wildlands, like, hey, it works. Like,
I was saying, Wildlands, to me, like, it's not a crucial part of the game, like a fucking stuntman game.
Yeah.
But it works.
Like I said, it's functional. It's like the driving was in all the Saints Row games. Like, like they get you from point A to point B.
Right. It doesn't take you out of it because it's bad.
Oh, it did for me.
Oh, it doesn't for me.
But then again, I was a guy who spent, who knows, like probably 200 hours of my life doing all the license challenges on like Gran Turismo 3 A-Spec.
See, I'm not. I don't play racing games.
Well, I don't anymore, I realize. And we'll talk about that with Forza in a moment. But yeah, like when driving feels wrong, like it really sticks out to me.
Yeah.
Because, there are games where like when the driving works just right, I know I can just drop in and do certain things and they function as planned. Like doing a reverse 180, doing, donuts, things like that. Like basic controls that if you know how to do those in an actual car, like they work. Like that's the one thing I've always loved about, the GTA series is like they were smart enough when they went 3D to say, hey, what's a company that's making cool driving stuff? Criterion. Let's pay them for their shit and put it in our game.
Yeah.
So back when GTA 3 came out, they had paid Criterion for their car physics modeling and their body damage modeling, and implemented those as well as they could with the systems they had in place.
Right.
But I think the issue, thinking about Reflections and the driving in all the Ubisoft games, is one of the kind of things that's also the brilliance of a company like Epic. Is that Ubisoft switched over to like, I think it's called like Anvil Next, is like the game engine they're kind of stuck using for all of their games.
Right.
And, Epic's had the beauty of, working on one engine for like 15 years.
Yeah.
And hiring developers with specific talents for specific parts of that engine. And not just trying to clutch together a couple of guys to, make something that's an all-purpose tool, which most of those don't work as well as special built. So I think it's kind of the limitations of the system to where even if the people with the talent that made cool driving tech for all the old Reflections games, they can't get those to work within the system. Did you ever hear the story about Need for Speed The Run with like every car like embedded inside the car model they had to put a gun?
What?
So, yeah, apparently Need for Speed The Run was the first game that wasn't Battlefield that came out that was built on Frostbite.
Okay.
Once EA switched over to Frostbite. So, for everything. So, with Need for Speed The Run, like the engine would break. Frostbite is not meant for racing games. They've since, had a couple years to work on these tools and improve, the environment. But apparently to get the fucking cars to work right, they had to hide an actual gun inside the model of all the cars to get it to render properly and not break everything.
Huh.
So like if you go into like the file editor and like zoom in to any vehicle, you eventually find like a pistol or something stuck somewhere inside the body model, because that was the only workaround they had to get shit to not break.
Isn't this the Need for Speed that was like really bad?
Well, most of them have been bad since Underground 2.
Okay, I was about to fight you.
Well, the thing is like the last one that came out was just okay.
Need for Speed Underground is so good.
Yeah. But
we need a remaster of that.
It won't happen just because of the licensing of the music.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Because they had Riders on the Storm for Need for Speed Underground 2. Snoop Dogg covering a Doors song. That's like half a dozen people that got to get paid for that song.
I forgot about that.
But Ghost Games are the guys and gals that made Need for Speed, just the one called Need for Speed from a few years ago.
Yeah.
And the most recent one that came out sometime late last year. But that first one they put out, the one that's just called Need for Speed, I actually really enjoyed that. But I don't know if I enjoyed that because I got it for like $20, or if I would have hated that game if I'd spent full price on it.
Didn't one of them charge you for gas, like real money?
No, that was the thing. People, like, that rumor came out and they kind of had like early documents about, but I don't remember that ever. Like, that was a thing, like, that had been in the kind of their planning things of things to potentially try out. And I think the story got out, and then EA was like, no, we're not going to charge you for gas unless they did that. And I played it well after they took that shit out because people were mad. But the issue with both of those Ghost Game Need for Speed games is that they're always online. So people would be trying to play their single player racing game, and then their cat would trip over the Ethernet cord, and then the game would like hard quit back out to the main menu, and they'd lose progress.
Yeah, that does suck.
Because you couldn't play it at all offline, and people were still mad about that. But like I said, the game itself, like the way it works, was cool. Like, it was the first one of those Need for Speed games in a long time where I didn't hate like the feel of the driving. That game was really fucking annoying with weird like car tuner culture of like mad hoonage, bruh.
Yeah, the newest one had like a random roll for parts and stuff. I know that.
Yeah, the newest one is like you're like, it's like a bad Fast and the Furious movie, and you're inside like a fake Las Vegas.
Yeah, it was like an experiment on how not to do microtransactions. That's Battlefront 2.
And oddly enough, with that game, like, it didn't operate that differently from the last Forza games.
Huh.
But the Forza games, I guess, function better overall, and people just, didn't say anything. Like, nobody complained about the game they liked. They just said, "Oh, EA's fucking up. Let's dogpile."
That does happen.
But granted, they fucked up magnificently with Star Wars.
They did. Yeah, you also played Forza. Is it Forza Horizon 4?
It's Forza Horizon 4.
Okay. Yeah, Bob asked me the other day if I'm going to get this. I told him no. But I do have Game Pass, so I'll play it.
Yeah,
I'm not going to spend $60, but $10, yeah, fuck, whatever. I'll play it.
Yeah. So, like, when I was listening to people talk about this, and I'd seen some like impressions and reviews come out for it, I was like, man, people are really throwing like high 9s, 10 out of 10s for this game. And I started playing it, and I was like, wow, this is fucking immaculate.
Yeah?
Like, this game is absolutely fantastic, but I can't be bothered to give a fuck about it.
Let me ask you this. I don't like Gran Turismo. I'm a Need for Speed guy. Am I still going to enjoy this?
So that's the whole point of the Horizon spinoff of the Forza series. So Forza Motorsports is the super dork nerd, weird, like heavy duty car culture shit that started, like all the Forza games have been like drastically better than most of the Gran Turismo games because they put a new one out like every other year.
Yeah.
So they're iterating and working on it. It's not like, Polygon Studios in Japan just sitting there like crafting this one weird game every 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so I started playing it, and I remember seeing a lot of people say, it looks amazing. And yeah, in motion it does, but if you stop and look at any of the individual parts, you see a lot of shortcuts to get this to look so good, in motion. But that's the cost of doing business. Is like some of the shit looks really weird, but when you're driving as you should be, like it looks absolutely fan-fucking-tastic.
Yeah, I was gonna say the fucking hot air balloons and stuff.
Yeah, the hot air balloons. There was a race I did where like there's just random like fireworks going off at night in the distance. I was like, man, that's cool. But like you said, you didn't like any of like the more race sim kind of games.
Okay, I see now. Like I'm on the store, I'm trying to find this so I can start installing it on the Xbox. I never noticed that there's Forza Motorsport and there's Forza Horizon.
Yeah, Horizon is the goofier, less serious version. But that's the issue that comes up for me is like the driving in this is immaculate, but it's sim racing still predominantly.
Yeah.
So it's not like a game like Need for Speed. You were talking about those mobile games. You like a game where you can just kind of turn your brain off.
Yeah.
And you run on autopilot. You have to know how to drive well to just not fail repeatedly at this game.
Okay.
Like you always have to be paying attention to do well. Like you can't turn your brain off. You've got to be focused on it.
Gotcha.
And that just was not clicking for me. Like I absolutely appreciate and respect. Oh yeah, I was complaining. It was like, man, this is some real representation and inclusion, but nothing that looks like me. Like all these skinny jean wearing idiots, and they all have hair. You fucks.
And they all have hair.
But I was like, God damn it! Can I get like one sad chubster in here? Doesn't even have to be white. Like, just give me one guy who looks like he gave up 20 years ago.
This game does look like I'm interested, man. Like,
yeah, like the way the presentation bugs me a little bit with like the whole thing with the Horizon thing is like there's the Horizon Festival is what's going on. So like it's this awful, horribly destructive, absolute giant piles of assholes just going to a spot, picking it, and just partying in their cars for months. So it's like, yeah, this is cool. I like the concept. And then you realize, man, these poor fucking people that live here. Like,
I think Penny Arcade did a comic about that too.
But like so in this one, there's like a lot of those little like rock fences you just bust through, and small trees. Just like, dude, I just did thousands of dollars of property damage in a small neighborhood. My bad, yo. At least I got influence.
This just came out, right?
This just came out, yeah. Tuesday is when it released to the full public.
It's on Game Pass. I love that.
Yeah. This is one of those games that, if you had bought like the deluxe edition with all the extra shit and like the future content releases, you got it like 3 days early.
Okay.
Just just an additional incentive upon all the other stuff. It's like, oh hey, Shadow of the Tomb Raider also did that. Like if you bought like the big boy version, the season pass stuff and everything,
Yeah,
you got it a few days early. And then I feel bad for anybody that did that.
and if you want to know why, go check out the old podcast.
Which brief non sequitur into the Shadow of the Tomb Raider thing is like, I mentioned in our Discord the other day, is like I found out like hearing other people's like responses and reading a few reviews, like people said, yeah, this is a really cool story. And I was like, what fucking game do these people play? Like, and then I heard one person talking. I was like, yeah, I just love sitting down at the campfire and hearing her talk. I was like, oh yeah, if you sit down at the campfire, which is a spot you go to save your game, fast travel, upgrade all your stuff, she starts a monologue, or if Jonah's nearby, she has a conversation with Jonah. But the fucking game stops that audio and just skips it, never to be heard again, if you open up any of the fucking menus you came there for.
Yep, the second one does that too.
Yeah, I forgot how much I hated that.
Yeah, she was saying something really interesting, and I opened up a menu and she stopped, and I was like, oh, you're stopping for me? No, keep...
And then you back out and she doesn't speak again. You're like,
yeah,
you mute fuck, speak, goddammit, speak.
God of War does that where like, Head's telling a story and get on shore. He's like, another time. And he fucking starts again next time you get on the boat. That technology exists, Lara Croft.
Yeah.
Don't act like it doesn't. We fucking know it does.
So like so much of like her actually seeming like more of a human character and not being an absolute psychopath happens in those kind of like monologues. And I missed all that because I played the game like fucking normal and didn't sit there and stare at a screen I didn't need to be at for fucking a minute and a half as she fucking, shits out of her mouth a diatribe of, hey, it wasn't all my fault.
It's kind of like, and I'm pretty sure Bob does this, he'll start telling you an interesting story, and then, if something happens, something comes up, and it's like, what were you saying? I don't know. Like, you should know you were saying it.
You were saying this. This was your brain. Did like minor visual stimulus just like shake the Etch-a-Sketch that is your short-term memory?
With Bob, yes, it did.
It's just like, ooh, squirrel.
Yeah. It's literally like, oh, really interesting story. I got a text message. Like, what were you saying? Oh, I don't know. I got a text message. It's like, go back to the story. Oh, I can't. Just shut your fucking phone off whenever you talk to me.
But yeah, so sliding back into Horizon here.
Slide back.
It's like right back in them DMs, boy. Anyway,
all right.
There's these stunt challenges that have you driving around in like cool cars. This is what made me want to actually start up Stuntman. Okay. Is that you're doing these kind of like long sequence driving races that are, setups for like stunts in a movie, and you're the car driving double. Because apparently, this just happens in random England countrysides all the time. But yeah, it's cool. They have this weird like the history of cars in video games. Okay. Like quest line that opens up later on. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like so much of this game,
world, right? It's an open world game.
It's a free roam open world.
That's cool.
And as you break through stuff, like the design of it, like as soon like one of the things I heard people talk about is something I also really appreciated, was that as soon as like you hit start on the main screen to start the game, you see like a minor transition scene of cars driving, a little bit of setup for like 30 seconds, and then bam, you're already driving. Like it just gets you right into the game, and there's always shit to do. Like there's a button dedicated to pull up, I think it's called Anna. It's like your AI navigation assistant.
Yeah.
And you can just hit like down on the D-pad, and it pops a few options. I need influence. I need this. I want to just play around.
Okay.
And it auto marks like one of the events nearby on your GPS and you drive to it, and bam, you're right back in the action. I forgot initially that, Forza, it's an always online game.
Yeah.
But there is an offline mode. And so even if you do dip into offline, you'll still see cars with other users' names above them.
Okay.
So, like, Forza's been doing this thing for a few years called the Drivatars, which is like them doing cool stuff with their data sharing tools.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll look at like your performance and times in certain events and like the style of driving you've done through events based on, how often you smacked into shit.
Oh, okay.
So it builds like the AI of these other cars around you.
I feel like that's been around for a while. I know that was in Marvel vs. Capcom 3. There was like shadow characters that you could fight based on your friends how they played. Yeah,
so the Drivatars have been around since the 360 era of Forza games.
But so what would you say is the difficulty level? Is this like
it's got a lot of options there.
Okay.
Like, you can turn it on to a much simpler mode where, like, I did well enough in a couple of races. It said, "Hey, do you want to turn up the Drivatar difficulty?"
Okay.
To from average to above average, and I said yes. And it does a beautiful thing of if you do go up the difficulty, it gives you just a hard chunk percentage increase to all your XP earned.
Oh, okay.
So you're not just, having shit, be more difficult. You're also getting rewarded for it.
But if I'm on a simpler mode, am I going to have to grind a lot more?
Not really. I mean, that stuff, all this stuff comes pretty fast. There's lots of events to do. There's always another thing popping up on the map. As soon as you open up one thing, you get through some of these things, and bam, a whole new event starts that does a whole different thing. Like, you go through the stunt things for a while. It opens up like these dirt tracks. Because, like, the dirt, the mud, the ice, the snow, all those affect your traction. And then all the cars, handle differently according to, their weight, their tuning, the speed you're going at. So, like I said, you never really can, like, turn your brain off when you're in the middle of a race. Because you can accidentally, like, oversteer a little bit too much because you hit a little patch of mud.
Yeah.
And now you're never going to catch up.
I'm all right with that.
Because, Forza is the one thing I've always loved about Forza is that there's no rubber banding. There's no catch up.
Okay.
So, like, if you fuck up or the AI fucks up,
they're
not just going to magically shoot past you out of nowhere and just come up like a fucking speeding bullet. It's like, hey, I was doing max speed in the fastest car in this game.
Right.
And this car just showed up out of nowhere and passed me. Like, I'm doing 200 miles an hour. How fast is this fucker going?
This asshole with the blue shell.
Yeah. Communism in action.
So this is capitalism in action?
Yeah, this is capitalism in action. You paid for the more powerful thing, you win.
All right. Did you just change your license plate to Trollolo?
Yeah, well, at the start, like, you can, customize your license plate.
That's amazing.
And so, like, at the very start of this video, I went and tried some goofy things to see what it'd allow. I think at first I tried cornhole. It said no. And then I tried butt stuff, and it also said no.
Do you think they get, like, readings, like, they get that information, they're just like, what the fuck's wrong with this Trollbeard guy?
I was like, what is wrong with all these people? But yeah, also, the thing that always weirded me out every time it happened was that since, in my Xbox profile it has my name, Charles, my name is one of the names they have the AI be able to say.
Oh.
So all of a sudden I'm looking at my phone.
I love that.
And then the game just says, okay, Charles. And I'm like, what? Don't do that. That's weird. Like, it weirded me out every time because I wouldn't be paying attention. I said, hey, Charles, let's get back to this. It's like, no, this is weird. Stop.
That's awesome. I wish more games would do that. I actually love that.
Yeah, like I said, I appreciate the idea, but like I always forgot about it long enough for it to happen again and be distracted. Then it's like, okay, Charles, let's get back to it. Like, stop.
You imagine like being out in the kitchen or something and hearing that, like, "Hey, Charles, let's have another race." Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
No, I'm leaving. I'm burning this place down.
No, I'm setting this Xbox on fire.
That would be great. Yeah, you got Xbox on your phone too. It could talk to you through there.
Yeah, but man, like I said, like I understand the more I played this for like a solid hour and a half. And like all the things I saw that people, respected and appreciated about this game is like, yes, this game is fan-fucking-tastic. This is one of the best games that'll probably come out this year, but it's just a driving game, so most people won't give it a chance.
That kind of shit annoys me whenever it comes to like, maybe not necessarily Game Awards. The stuff I watch with, like, kind of funny, they did give a lot of props to Madden with the long shot mode, but in general, video game shows are like, it's a driving game, it's shit. It's Madden, it's shit. It's NHL, it's shit. Like, no, it's not. Freaking, I'm trying to think. God of War, that's a shit game to people who like this.
Yeah,
it's all perspective.
It's people that don't like, varying degrees of difficulty, like hack and slash games.
People that don't like nerdy stuff, they're like, that game looks like shit. I want to.
Yeah, it's like it's magic and weird shit. That's dumb. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that. That's why when on our Discord that one day you're like, well, Destiny is just I can't remember how you worded, like, shitty game. I was like, no, you just don't like it.
Well, again, I also like there are strong aspects about that.
Of course, right. And we talked about that like a podcast or so ago.
That are absolute shit. Like that. It seems that they're finally changing their ways somewhat of abusing their audience.
Right.
Of like, oh, hey, we're just going to arbitrarily gate you for the longest grind possible. And then you're going to thank us when we make it slightly easier and you get more stuff.
Pretty much.
Carrot and the stick. Just
anyway, though. It's just stuff like that where it's like, that's a shitty game. Like, no, it's shitty to you, not to everyone else.
Yeah, but like I said, like, the design of this, like Playground Games being acquired by Xbox, I am fascinated to see what they do going forward because they've been making immaculate games for years now.
And now they got Microsoft money.
And now they're getting, well, they always had Microsoft money. But now they have, hey, we is Microsoft, boy.
Yeah. That's why I'm excited for State of Decay 3, because Undead Labs is like owned by them now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll actually have a functioning game that's not busted every other time you load it.
Dude, that game's getting worse, apparently. Everything I've been reading on the subreddit is like, well, there's new bugs, and none of the old ones are fixed.
Yeah. To be fair, like that company is like super small too.
Yes,
and they're trying to do like super deep, weird, interconnected systems. Like,
very ambitious stuff.
I can't stand that game, but man, I absolutely respect like the layers on layers on layers.
Yeah.
Of almost like if Dwarf Fortress was third person zombie action.
I'm just so glad that I finished that game when I did, when there were less bugs ish.
Yeah.
Every time I'm like, I'm gonna go back to State of Decay 2, and then I start thinking about all the problems I had, and I'm like, maybe not. Maybe I'll wait for. I think there's even been new content and stuff come out. Yeah, that game. I'm looking forward to them figuring their shit out. That's another game that's kind of more of a tech demo.
Because Playground Games going about Forza here is like there's enough talent there to where it makes me think of when Guerrilla Games was given a chance to just take a couple years off, and then they push out, Horizon.
Yeah.
Because I loved all of the Killzone games, but those were, except for like 2 and 3, the first Killzone was like this weird, like level based, almost like Halo
That's
knockoff.
the only one I played.
Which I liked it.
Yeah, I played the shit out of that game.
I still love the weirdness of, like, there's a shotgun in that game that has a secondary fire to fire both barrels.
Yeah.
But in the multiplayer, if you pushed both triggers, it fired 3 shotgun shots somehow.
Huh.
So like there's only 2 barrels on it, but it took both inputs and applied both effects.
Oh,
so it would magically shoot 3 shells out of 2 barrels, and it would just one shot everybody. And my friend I'd be playing with, like, split screen, he's like, dude, how are you killing me with one shot every time? I was like, I don't want to tell him. I don't want to ruin my surprise, because I could just be an asshole to him every now and then if he starts to do well. But like the campaigns in Killzone 2 and 3, like, have some of the greatest, like, of that era set pieces of, like, fantastic, like, crazy scale insanity going on. Like at the end of Killzone 3, there's like this giant walking fortress thing that's like shooting these buildings you're hiding in as you're trying to, like, fire rockets into it to break off plating to shoot us, like, heat venting things to make it explode. And like you run into these buildings to hide from the volleys of shots, and the buildings are being destroyed slowly, you know, as they're getting hit, so they're crumbling and destroying. And then you literally see this gigantic thing that's like 15 stories high. Like the scale of you know, interacting with all this stuff was absolutely crazy. The stories were always dumb, you know, but that's to be expected with most shooters.
Yeah, I really hope PlayStation... Oh, that's one thing we didn't put in the news docket, is the backwards compatibility stuff.
Yeah.
I really hope they figure that out.
Yeah, because with like that particular patent, so it was initially filed as a placeholder like 2 years ago.
Well, let me put it on the news docket. And you talk about Westerado.
Sure thing.
News after that.
But yeah, so yeah, I played some Forza, then I jumped into Stuntman, then I closed out like last night. I played some Westerado. And it's one of those games that's a small indie game published by Adult Swim Games. So like it has cool presentation. It's essentially like a side-scrolling adventure game, but like the main premise is essentially the board game Clue.
Okay.
So like you're at this ranch, you leave trying to chase down one of these bison, you come back, your family's been killed, your farm's been set on fire.
Damn.
And your brother gives you a clue about who did this to you, like you see here. And apparently, I think this auto-generates on different playthroughs. So, like, the clue of who it might be, you know, changes based on your run.
What? How long does it run?
Shit, I don't know. Like, I barely played for, like, 35 minutes, and I was already, like, 20% of the map explored.
Huh.
So it's not, like, super long. But as you go through, like, it's all text-based. The shooting's really weird. Like, you've got to manually pull out your gun, click the trigger once to cock the barrel back, the hammer back, and click again to fire. The left trigger, like, manually reloads bullets.
2 hours, by the way, main story, according to howlongtobeat.com.
Yeah, like I said, I can already tell I have a lot of progress for the short little bit I did. But yeah, so you go through and you talk to people, and I come around, you know, very shortly and run into my uncle, which is where my brother told me to go. Find Uncle, he'll help you avenge us.
But and would he be in another run through? The uncle?
Yeah, okay. I think the initial setup of the quests and options are the same. It's just who is actually the person in this world that actually killed your family. That's where it becomes different, because you'll see shortly when I can actually stop and talk to my uncle. At any time, it shows you on the bottom as you're going through and you're choosing options. It says right bumper, pull gun. You know,
right?
Like you can just pull out your gun and accuse anybody you talk to.
Huh. This is pretty rad. I had no idea that's what this was.
Yeah, like I like what it's doing, but I just don't enjoy playing the game part of it that much.
Yeah.
Like, this is one of those things that I love the way you go into beds, you just walk into them.
Yeah, like Stardew.
And your character model just walks back out.
Yeah.
Like, that shit made me giggle every time. I also, just to try it out, I shot my uncle. And then he just turns into a ghost that still helps you. He's like, God damn it, boy, why'd you have to go and shoot your old uncle? You killed me, boy. But I'm still going to give you hints.
Right.
But yeah, like I said, the actual combat, the shooting part that got weird. And there's so many little layers of interaction I wasn't expecting. So, like, you see up there on the top left, the barrel has 3 hats.
Right.
So your HP is all 3 of your hats, and then your body. So, like, imagine, like, ghouls and goblins. Like, you break off your armor.
Okay.
Then you can only take 1 more hit after that. So by the time you lose all your hats, then, you know, you're one shot. But you can shoot hats off of other people, pick them up, and get health back that way.
Huh.
You can find other hats that do other things. Like, I got kind of stuck in an area where Ghost was following me. He was trying to help me, trying to have me help him find his body. And it was down like a dark tunnel. And in one of the towns I had stopped at, like on the way up to that part, there was a miner guy with like the little hat with the light on it. I could have, you know, gotten from him somehow. And then I can walk through those tunnels and actually have a light.
Okay.
But yeah, like I said, that's where the real, like, old school adventure game part comes in. Is like there's quests to do and all this dialogue to happen, but like I said, the shooting, there was so much of it towards the end before I'd like stopped playing. I was like, this is like the weakest part of this game is the combat. Why are they making me do this like every other screen? Because like it really is you just like lining up the point of the line from your barrel is where you shoot. So
Right.
it's super easy for everybody to miss. There's friendly fire, so you can kill anybody in the game. As you run between bad guys, banditos, they can actually shoot each other. Also, I got killed by a coyote.
Yeah.
Because in one of these areas, I go up to like this graveyard, and there's these bandits hanging out. And I start fighting them. And all of a sudden, this like coyote runs up, steals my fucking hat. I'm like, you son of a bitch. And I'm dodging bullets. And then as I'm fighting another guy, he runs up again and steals another one of my hats. Like, he just slowly like stole all of my hats. And then I win the fight, and I'm like, well, fuck, now I have no health left. And then I kind of get close to the coyote, and he just jumps up and rips out my throat, and one hit kills me. I was like, you fuck.
Damn.
Like, I was like I did not know the coyotes could steal my hat. And then there's other animals you come across that have other interactions. Like, you'll see like random buzzards that are flying around. If you kill people and you walk away for a sec, the buzzards will land on the dead bodies and start eating them. Like, all this weird like layers of interaction, like an old adventure game should have, just with like a mediocre side-scrolling shooter thrown in there.
Right.
But yeah, like I said, like it's really interesting, the whole premise. And if you pay attention and actually follow the quests and go do these things, like you said, it's 2 hours at most. I may jump back in and try to finish it up, but I was losing interest fast.
Yeah. You just walk around
'Cause
shooting people till you find them.
Yeah, I was shooting people, and then I hit like that random wall. I was like, oh fuck, do this. I got to go back, find this person, do this quest, get this item, come back here. Start to get like super backtracky. Also, this lady was like, she's talking about, nobody wants to listen to her. She runs everybody off because she just doesn't shut up. And you keep hitting continue, and you go through the thing, and then it loops the conversation.
Oh.
And then I realized, like, she's talking about, like, people just, walk away mid-conversation. How rude. I was like, because she's like, my first boyfriend, the one that I really loved, he never, got mad at me. It's a shame, he didn't hear that buffalo charging when he got ran over. Apparently the first boyfriend she had was deaf.
That's awesome.
I just couldn't hear her. So yeah, at one point I just had to walk away from this woman. By the time I realized it just looped the conversation, I was like, oh man, what the hell?
That guy, his villain is in his name. Just shoot him.
Yeah.
This just looks interesting. There's a lot of personality in here.
Yeah, like I said, it's really good presentation. I like the art. I like the style. I like how much small details are going on with like the birds flying down. You walk over towards the birds, they scare up, fly off. Chickens run around. There's bison out and about in certain areas. You can shoot them and, they die, I guess. I don't remember there being anything you could loot from them. It's not like you collect materials. There's places to go, to buy new hats. There's a whole store that sells nothing but hats. Place to buy guns.
I mean, I want to play this just because, like we've talked about before, I love having shorter, neater experiences. This looks like it'd be one of those.
Yeah, one of the weapons the bad guys use was like a bolo. Like the little like balls with rope.
Is it bolo or bola?
Bolo, I want to say.
Yeah, bolo is
but yeah, so
a
like
wrestling thing.
But yeah, like I was walking by and I get into the fight and I start shooting the guys and I wasn't paying attention to this guy throws the thing and it just like wraps your arms up and you can't like. So I was just sitting there just like shuffling up and down, left and right, dodging bullets until I could break free and finally shoot again. And there was a guy that had like a double barrel shotgun. Like when he'd fired, it'd throw him back a little bit.
How do you break free from the bolo?
I think it's just a time thing.
Okay.
I don't remember hitting any buttons to like shake out, but there was a guy that had double pistols that fired on 2 different lines instead of just one.
Huh.
But it takes much longer to reload. Like when you do reload, you gotta like click the left like trigger like every single time to load one bullet at a time. Yeah, like I said, there's a lot of cool character. There's some funny, silly writing and goofy bits, and like the whole like clue premise of just like you go do quests and you get a new like hint as to who the bad guy is, and you can just go out there and randomly challenge people, get into a fight, and you'll be absolutely wrong, and the cops show up. You're like, "Hey, man, what the hell?"
Yeah, I was saying I saw a little bit of money back there. You just went and grabbed it. This looks really neat. I'm gonna have to try this.
Yeah, it's part of the Game Pass.
Hell yeah! I love that Game Pass.
Yeah, I've got like the rest of this month, I want to say, before mine expires. But
I got 2 months because I got that special thing.
Yeah. Then whenever yours expires, it's probably around the same time mine does. Yeah. But yeah, like Game Pass is cool. Speaking of something similar with Sony, they reset all of their free trials.
I heard about that.
So even if you had used the 7-day free trial before, or if you had been an active subscriber, like everybody can go back in now since they added the ability to download stuff.
Yeah, give it another shot.
You can go in and give it another shot again.
That's smart, because a lot of times with those services, they do something neat, and you've already had a free trial. Oh, fuck, I wish I would have had that. Sony's like, yeah, but you can. That's pretty smart on their part.
Also, I had also seen talking about Game Pass. Like, apparently they have a promotion in the UK at Burger King. Or like there's like a $5 meal box or whatever that comes with like a 7-day code.
Huh. That's kind of cool.
But yeah, like Westerado is neat. I'm curious to see if I jump back into it.
Yeah, I'll have to try and play that. I'll have to finish it and let you guys know how it is. But I think now we're going to get into the news. So we'll do a little video. And that clip there is appropriate because we do have Fortnite news we forgot to talk about during the Fortnite segment. You can support your favorite content creator with Fortnite in-game purchases now. Or it's gonna be a thing.
It starts, I think, at the end of this week, all the way through the end of the year.
That's another impressive thing about Fortnite is like when they announce something, it's like, and it's a now thing. It's
yeah, it's not. Oh, hey, we have plans. We'll maybe do an update in 4 months. Destiny. Old Destiny, not current Destiny, I guess. They seem to be a lot more up to date with putting out new stuff.
They're on it. They got it figured out. Maybe, hopefully.
Hopefully, they keep this pace.
Yeah.
So
go ahead.
I was gonna say I looked into more of the detail. So, like any V-Bucks earned in game, there's a percentage going to the streamer of the content creator, the person of your choice. So that includes even like doing the weekly challenges and Save the World that give you a couple of V-Bucks. And not even just you paying real cash money to buy V-Bucks. They still get a small cut of that too.
Okay.
It's like every V-Buck transaction in the entire game, a little bit goes to the person you choose. And you can choose a different person at any time. It's like, oh, hey, I bought, a $10 pack of V-Bucks. Give a little bit of money to this guy. I like his videos. He really helped me out. Saying, oh, hey, this guy's entertaining to watch, at lunch break, at work. All right, I'm going to switch over to him.
Yeah.
And go grind, Save the World. And I got like 600 V-Bucks. All right, he gets a chunk of that.
Yeah, because from next week until December 31st.
Yeah, okay. But yeah, like that's the crazy thing about Fortnite and Epic is like good guy Epic, because like they're like, hey guys, we're succeeding. We're bringing everybody up to our level that we can. Because when they released all the assets for Paragon when Paragon died, they slowly rolled out all those assets to be usable within Unreal Engine 4. They changed the entire payout model to give people more payouts in the Unreal Engine marketplace.
Oh, wow.
So like they went from like a 30% cut, like most every store does everywhere, to like a much smaller cut. They don't take as much money, and then they back paid everybody for the difference in percentage from the start of the store.
My buddy just started playing Fallout 4, and he didn't like the mod store thing. I told him, I was like, well, it's just people. It's not the developers. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that's people getting some money for the work they did.
It's not the developers trying to cash in on shit.
Yeah,
only a tiny bit.
They get a little cut, like anytime you buy credit on like iTunes or whatever.
Yeah.
There's a little money goes to them because they're hosting all the services and putting it available to you. But yeah, my roommate bought way too much shit.
Yeah.
From the fucking just because he's playing on a PS4 like most of the time, and they have some weird cool stuff in there of like neat skins. It's like, hey, it's $1.
They do. Yeah. I've looked at it. There's a lot of very cool, very like professional. Like it could have come from the dev. But I guess that's also a little bit of a testament to Unreal Engine.
Well, Fallout 4 has nothing to do with Unreal.
Oh, right. Never mind.
But either way, it's a similar premise of like Unreal Engine, like those assets.
Yeah.
You know, you sell them, you buy like that license to use those assets from professional people. There are like small studios that are like intermediary studios, like you know how Reflections has come to be. They work for other companies most of the time, but they occasionally put out their own projects. A lot of those guys from those companies can put out like, here's some sound from our sound designer, here's some character models, here's this little bit of area, here's this whole like rendering system to do this effect in your game, so they can earn a secondary income for their company or for themselves in their off time of when they don't have an active project going, and now they get a better payout. Ever since Epic made that change a while back, like that was the crazy thing. Is people are like, oh, cool, that's neat. You're just gonna take a smaller percentage now instead of 30%.
Yeah,
it was the back paying everything else through the entirety of the store.
That is
of like
wild.
all of the sales you had up until those point, you're gonna get your percentage back to the difference of where it's at now, which is insanity. Like that's how much goddamn money Fortnite is making.
Yeah,
is like they're getting everybody on the come up. Like everybody, we're having a fucking party because that's what Epic seems to be doing. They've always been a cool company. Just traditionally, like their experience of like the projects they worked on, like that insane heyday of like end of PS2, Xbox going into PS3 360, where like every other game coming out was on the Unreal Engine, and they all kind of looked the same. It worked the same.
Yeah.
But they were all cool. Like it reduced, like when more companies were using middleware engine solutions and not all making their own.
Yeah.
It allowed them to iterate with weirder ideas. That's where that middle grade, like AA, like THQ space of games happened.
And isn't that part of the reason why Rocket League exists?
Yeah, Rocket League, Psyonix, they were like the guys there that started Psyonix were asset creators for the vehicles in Unreal Tournament way back in the day.
Yeah, so that's pretty much why we have Rocket League.
There's a lot of companies that started off,
Yeah.
We talked about both Chair and People Can Fly.
But if Psyonix had to make their own engine, we may not have ever seen anything like that.
Yeah, because they wouldn't have had the time or money to devote to that. I mean, look at PUBG. Like,
yeah, we wouldn't have had PUBG. We wouldn't have Fortnite. We wouldn't have a lot of things.
Yeah. Gears of War, Siphon Filter. Not Siphon Filter, but Splinter Cell.
Oh, I was just saying Siphon Filter. What the fuck?
Siphon Filter was 989 Studios. The artist currently known as Sony Bend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They're making a game called Days Gone that comes out next year.
It does look good. Speaking of
it's
Sony,
one of those games where like people just like, hey, it's a zombie game, fuck that. It's like, no, like they're doing cool, insane, weird shit with their open world. Like you may not like the zombie part, but there's interesting shit here. But anyway, Sony.
Yeah, Sony, they have registered a new patent for the backwards compatibility. You had written a whole thing about it, so you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so like I had mentioned a bit ago, like the weird speculation on this whole thing, as like that was the thing, is like I saw that story as it broke through Reset Era, and this website reported on it like as it happened when they noticed the thread and read into the patent. It's called remastering. Fuck, what was it?
Replacing legacy.
Like what's? I'm trying to remember the exact like phrase they use.
Let me see.
I clicked the link here. Just a second. Remastering by emulation.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so they had filed the placeholder patent like 2 years ago, and it was just like earlier this week that people realized they updated that patent and actually put some details in there, and actually made it more of like a real patent with an actual description for a technology or a service, something patentable. And so essentially how it breaks down is that in the code, each asset, I mean, that could be anything, textures, sound, bitmaps for like the ground, the physics, like code.c, like any of the assets within that file, they can just take and apply a hash value, just like an identifier.
Right.
This is asset 0x3952b, and they could go through and mark anything in that code for that game with an asset modifier or an asset identifier. So then with the patent here is they can swap any of those identifiers out with a corresponding identifier for the new file. So in a game, like this is what, Killzone?
Yep.
All right. So they could go through and you install this game from like your disk. Like this is the potential if they're actually doing backwards compatibility. Like none of this is all rumor and speculation. But, what's the point of remastering thing and emulating at the same time? And when you could just, have a company do a remaster and be done with it.
Right.
So this is kind of like a tool to do most of the work for you automatically and not have to dedicate a team to all of the details,
Well, you're still going to have to make the textures.
It depends on like the layers of what they're going to do. So in the Discord post I mentioned, there are some, already upscalers built into certain emulators.
Okay.
To where it just upscales and, multi-samples the texture you already have to a higher resolution.
Okay, so we're not necessarily going to get Crash HD.
I mean, you could with the same technology if it functions, the way it's listed. They could, install like an HD texture pack.
Right, but somebody would have to make that HD texture pack.
That would have to be made.
Right, so we wouldn't necessarily be getting something like Crash. We would just be getting something like what we're seeing here with Killzone, with the original textures just made not pixely.
Yeah, just upscaled and
right.
rendering correctly for the format you're showing it on.
Because if you just put Killzone on a PlayStation and then up-resed it, I don't think you'd be up-resing it. Maybe it would be up-resing. It would look tremendously worse because all the textures and everything are going to stretch.
Yeah, but that's where like smoothing scalars like Lanxos and
right,
all those fun weird image processing tools. So this would essentially, I'd imagine, like if we're just doing like upscaling the textures, like the installation will probably have it run that process once and then cache those files inside the game install.
If Sony comes out and says, we're putting the PlayStation 2 marketplace on the PlayStation 4, I might go get a PlayStation 4.
Well,
I'm not a nostalgia guy, but man, there are some games on PlayStation 2 I love. Like
there are like the PS2 Classic.
Yeah.
That are like slightly improved versions with trophy support and other features added that are modern.
Yeah.
Like pretty much all the PS2 Rockstar games are on there.
Killzone
and a couple others. No Killzone 1.
But that's what I'm saying. They could, if they figure out this like automated process almost, and they're like, all right, all the PlayStation 2 games are on. Like if they figure out a way, because everybody gives Microsoft props all the time for releasing these games backwards compatible in slow chunks. If Sony is just like, all right, everything's here, That would be crazy.
Yeah, because, speculatively, you could almost guarantee right now, like if PS5, if this is a feature being built for PS5, this would at least give you the option right off the bat for PS1, PS2, and PS4 emulation right out of the box.
Why not PS3?
PS3 is still a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like it's legitimately easier to take the Xbox 360 versions of these games and get them working on the PS4 than it is to get the PS3 version working.
Oh shit. That's because of the chip they used or something?
Yeah, so that's the crazy thing about like the issue of emulation for gamers with the PS3 era is like Sony and IBM kind of fell on the sword of like multi-threading and asymmetric processing
because the
and
PlayStation
multi-core
3
CPUs.
was fucking powerful when it came out.
Yeah, like it's still like insanely useful. Like
there are server farms of PlayStation 3s.
Yeah, there were server farms of PlayStation 3s running entire branches of our military at a certain point. Like because the whole cell architecture there is a dedicated chip for each. Like so, you think of multi-core CPUs. In the case of the cell processor, each specific part of that multi-core processor was a dedicated tool for a dedicated process. So like this part of the chip only renders these items. This part of the chip does this. So you only had to spool up and queue in the parts of the chip you needed for the specific action.
Mm-hmm.
So you could, kind of background noise the other cores you weren't actively using for the bulk to, help out. So like when you got games that were optimized, once, ICE is like the internal like technology team, I want to say that's their name in Sony.
Okay.
Like they're the people you contact like if you need to really figure something out. Like they're the people that show up and help with all the first party stuff to where you see like first party PS3, PS4 games are fucking fantastic looking.
Right.
And they run well because these guys are fucking digital wizards that know every inch of metal and how it functions and how it's supposed to work. So that's why like late gen, like PS3 games still look good.
Right.
Once they figured it out, because the main issue with PS3 was, well, Sony also uses like a I want to say like a very specific like audio format, and that was like part of the big fuck up between them and Bethesda with Skyrim.
Okay.
Skyrim had way more issues on the PS3 than it should have. Because Bethesda has a trash game engine that's been around for fucking 20 years.
Right.
They need to like scrap entirely, but they don't want to do that. And that like they had to like kind of like fucking bolt on compatibility for the weird rendering and processing part. Like the whole computing pathways were entirely different than how their system was built to run originally. And then there's also like the weird hiccup of like the audio formats Sony was using and then them having to work that in. So like they fix one part, then fuck up this other thing, then they get this working, then all right, now this is being weird over here. So the DLCs for Skyrim came out like months later on PS3 and almost didn't happen until those guys from ICE showed up and helped them solve their fucking shit. Okay, get your shit together, Bethesda. This isn't that hard. But yeah, so this is going to be crazy to see where this patent goes. Because right now it's speculation. Like this patent could, end up being nothing. But if the technology does become something, it's absolutely fascinating to see what they do with it.
Yeah, I hope they do something with it. Something good. They've showed a couple of games, Killzone and SOCOM 2 up there. I would love to play those. I guess I could always emulate them, but it's not the same.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, with
mhm.
I was gonna say with PS3 games, even still currently, there's a lot of PS3 games because of like the coding they had to do to get it to work, as well as it does on that hardware. Like guys have like 1080 Ti's that are like redlining at all times, trying to get those games to run at 30 frames per second
Wow.
on emulation because like they don't have any of the hardware for those specific tasks. So you're trying to emulate multiple different layers of smaller CPUs.
Jeez.
So yeah, like that's the crazy thing and the nightmare like of the PS3 era of like how fascinating and how amazing it was for those games, but then how much shit like it piled into Sony's life when they made bad decisions like in their infrastructure and like the hardware of the system. Like how hard it is for them to do anything because they would love to do the backwards compatibility like tomorrow because they would sell so many games because you see when Modern Warfare 2 came to backwards compatibility, Modern Warfare 2 for the 360 was in the top selling games of NPD that month.
Yeah.
Like Sony has a gigantic catalog of games that, they're like, oh, hey, here's this version. Go buy it on the store, $5. Like the
Crash
eShop,
Bandicoot and Spyro. Those could have been just a Sony thing, but now it's everywhere.
But yeah, so yeah, I hope they do something because I see these people that are like they're just like hard out. Like if there's no backwards compatibility in the PS5, like they just won't even humor buying it. It's like backwards compatibility means absolutely fucking nothing to me.
It's a really nice thing, but
it's okay if like you're thinking about going back and playing those games. It's like other than like the curiosity I have right now of going in and playing Red Dead and finishing that before Redemption 2 later this month.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I could have just watched a synopsis video and been done in like 2 hours.
Yeah, I will say, like I said, that if they announced this for PS4, I would go buy one. I would go buy a cheaper PS4, not like a a newer one or anything. I would buy a used one and be happy. If they said everything PS1, PS2, PS3, PS4 on PS5, I'd be like, all right, cool. I'll buy one eventually. Like that's not a console buyer for me at that level, but at a $150, $200 level, yeah, I'd probably buy that. Yeah, you're right. It's not a system seller. It's not a system breaker for me.
Yeah, because there are so many like absolute fucking masterpieces that are PS3 exclusive games, and it's driving people crazy trying to emulate that shit.
Yeah, I made my my friend's PlayStation 4 my account like home console or whatever you call it on PlayStation, so they could have my PS3 games. Yeah, I imagine you know how well that went. Like, there's nothing here. What happened to my account? Looked it up. Oh, PS3 doesn't work on PS4. Shit. Okay.
That's a yikes from me, dog.
I had forgotten / wasn't aware. So, but moving on, we're gonna talk about, or rather, we're gonna talk about it because it happened. The world of Harry Potter. Is that what it's called? Oh no, it's just open world Harry Potter.
Well, there's like the Wizarding World. I want to like. Well, the Wizarding World of Harry Potter is the actual name for the.
For the what?
For the entire Harry Potter franchise. It's not just Harry Potter.
Right.
The name is, it's like A Song of Ice and Fire is Game of Thrones, but everyone just fucking says Game of Thrones. So like, so there's like two names people had out there. They're like Magic Forever. Ew. And something else that sounded really fucking stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't like Magic Forever.
Yeah, so like the actual gameplay footage, like I saved a copy of that YouTube video I had linked.
Yeah, I'm showing images right now. It's not the video.
And then I forgot it was there and I deleted that folder.
It happens.
So yeah, like Warner Brothers, like to tell that this game is absolutely real, Warner Brothers fucking like the Hammer Bros from Mario, just fucking jumping, throwing the goddamn copyright strike hammer at everything, just machine gunning, like, hey, pull this down ASAP. Like this thing.
Yeah, so what happened was apparently these people were approached at a shopping mall to watch a trailer and complete a short survey, and they get $8. They were told cameras or phones weren't allowed, but they weren't confiscated. So, way to fuck up there, because you know people are going to record. And they recorded some video of an open world RPG, and it, to me, looks pretty fucking awesome. I'm really excited about this. What has Avalanche made?
So this is Avalanche Software, not Avalanche Studios. Avalanche Software made like most of like the Disney licensed games, and they made Disney Infinity.
Infinity, which is fun. I have Disney Infinity. I enjoy those games. They're
like all of the games they've made have been well working, cool and fun games. They've never been amazing,
right? Infinity included. Infinity is like it's fun, but I didn't put a whole lot of time into it.
Like the time and budget. And like the turnaround they had for being like a fairly smaller studio, based out of Utah, which is weird.
Huh.
I guess it's cheap to live there, so
when I first heard it was the Disney Infinity guys, the first thing that came to my mind, making this Harry Potter game, is oh shit, they're really good at world building, because that was one of the best parts of Infinity was all of these Disney licenses in one world, and just the way they all kind of blended together and the way they used those assets were really fucking well done. That's also one of my favorite things about Infinity.
Like they made the Toy Story 3 game.
Okay.
That had a lot of like really cool like small detail stuff in there for the world of that movie. And like all the shit they've made has been like fairly budget, but really fucking fun. Like, you're not mad at the time you spend.
Right. Like, Infinity is not, like, one of my favorite games of all time, but I enjoyed my time in that world.
Like, most people like the actual game of Infinity more than any of the other, like, Toys to Life games.
Absolutely.
Because they knew what they were doing as far as making a game.
I found myself getting lost in Infinity quite a few times.
But the thing is with Avalanche Software is that they got closed down a while back.
Oh.
And got resurrected. So when Disney killed off their entire games division, I want to say at the end, like sometime in 2016, that's when Disney Infinity got canceled. They closed down Avalanche Software. Somewhere after that, Warner Brothers bought that company, their properties, like all their IP that they had. Because they had made like 2 or 3 like original games. I want to say, well, no, they've always done licensed stuff. Because they did like a Rugrats game way back in the day. They did like the Cars 2, Cars 3, Toy Story 3, Disney Infinity, and something else. Well, they bought up the company and the space. I think they bought the actual building where the developers had been, and they reinstated the original CEO.
Okay.
So I don't know how many of the original Avalanche crew came back in to build this, but they've had about a year and a half since Warner Brothers bought them to have started making this.
So it's probably going to be a while before we see.
This is still probably at least another year or 2 minimum.
If I was Warner Brothers, though, I would just go ahead and release the footage. Like, okay, you guys are seeing like really shitty versions of it, like this camera. Here's what it actually is, and just so you know, this is very early kind of thing.
But yeah, the crazy thing to me was like everybody who covered this story always had to mention the guy's name that leaked it.
Yeah. This is like Vape Bro or something.
Vape this bro. So anyway, a lot of people initially thought the story was fake until like he posted like the video, and they thought it was dumb. You know, I was like, "What do you mean mall surveys?" It's like as soon as I read that, I was like, "Yeah, it makes sense." Because when I was living in Dallas, I lived like in a suburb area called Grand Prairie for a long time. And there's a mall right there by Six Flags, the theme park.
Yeah.
Called the Six Flags Mall. And I'd be in there like in the weekdays, like after school time. Every like few months, you'd see somebody standing out with a clipboard. If you stopped and you talked to them, most of those people were coming through. You went to like a test screening of a movie.
Yeah.
So there were so many different movies I saw as a kid that were the pre-release versions that had different scenes in them than the movie you saw.
Yeah.
And then I also got like $10 for doing it.
They do that at Universal Studios. They have an area you can go to. If it's open, then they'll show you stuff.
But yeah, so this is them going in and getting like feedback from multiple people in a different area that they think has enough like variety of humans.
Yeah.
To get some different things going on.
And this is Warner Brothers or Avalanche hiring a little company. I don't know if it's a little company, but it's a company that does surveying. So, like, this company really should have taken their fucking phones. Like, I don't
they fucked up
how that
bad.
happened. Yeah, because if this vape guy came out and said there's an RPG based on Harry Potter, people would be like, yeah, sure, whatever. But the fact that he was able to show video gives so much validity to that.
Because I posted like the description he gave. Let me scroll back and see. So we get a little bit more details here. Damn, I posted way too much shit.
I didn't know he gave a description.
Yeah, like in his initial post, he gave the description of like the cue card they read to tell you, hey, this is the product. And then they don't tell you what it's for. And the video rolls and you realize it's it's fucking Harry Potter. What do you mean? Damn it, this is way back there. What the hell?
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, so yeah, like he had a description of exactly what they told him. Fuck. Did I post that in the regular one and not the podcast one?
Yeah, I don't see it, but that's okay.
Anyway, so yeah, the just the banhammers alone tell you that this is real.
Yes, absolutely.
But the thing I really want to talk about first, like part before I found the original thread, said that there was a rumor that this was being made by Rocksteady Games, the company that made the Arkham series, because they're owned by Warner Brothers, or at least they have a exclusive publishing deal. I think they're owned by Warner Brothers now.
I thought they were owned by them, yeah.
And then my immediate reaction was, Harry Potter RPG, that sounds cool. Rocksteady making it. No, don't do that. It's like, I have no issue with Harry Potter. It's just like, those guys can do so much better. Give them a chance to make their own shit.
That's what I was thinking. At this point, I would like to see what they could do with their own IP.
But apparently they're working on more DC stuff.
Doesn't surprise me.
But again, it's been 2014 was when Arkham Knight came out.
Yeah,
so it's been 4 years. It's been 4 years already.
Hopefully
since
we get
Arkham
that
Knight
Superman game.
I doubt it. Like,
I'm hoping.
Just because, like, people just want to know what the fuck it is.
Yeah, more or less.
Like, just peel the bandage off. Let us know. Break our hearts. Because did you ever hear the rumor?
Rumor about what?
About Rocksteady that might be making a Ninja Turtle game.
Ooh.
But again, that's just more of like what Arkham was already. Like, give them a chance to do something else.
Yeah. Use something. Yeah, make something other than like a beat 'em up.
Yeah. But that was like the weird transition of emotions I had immediately. Harry Potter, that's always been neat. Rocksteady, no, don't, not them, no, don't. And I was like, Harry Potter's perfectly fine. It's just, I personally, for me, it's like that franchise at this point in its existence is beneath what Rocksteady could be doing.
I hope it is a studio like Avalanche, somebody that, like, look, guys, you guys make good stuff. Make something incredible. Show us what you're really capable of.
Well, like I said, it is Avalanche. Like, we know that.
Yeah.
Because Avalanche got resurrected.
Yeah, I mean the original Avalanche team.
Yeah.
Like, we don't know how much of them. Like, is it Avalanche in name only kind of thing?
Yeah. Well, like I said, the guy who ran it's there.
Yeah.
And he hired people because that was another part of like the confirmation that Avalanche is the one that was making a Harry Potter game. Because there was a job listing from like a year ago that was talking about British folklore and knowledge of British history and silly stuff. I was like, what else could it be at this point after you see that video? Like,
it's gotta suck to write those job postings. It's like, we need somebody who knows Harry Potter, but we need to post something that doesn't say Harry Potter, but we need to post something that says Harry Potter.
Well, yeah. Because also, like, today I saw Guerrilla Games. We just talked about them a minute ago. They hired two of the guys that were primary, primary head people for Rainbow Six Siege.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
Because one of those guys had already worked for Guerrilla Games before.
Okay.
The game director for Siege was also like one of the lead map designers and gameplay leads for Killzones 2 Online.
Okay, which was really good.
So yeah, that guy's back with Guerrilla Games, and then the other guy was a gameplay systems engineer, stuff like that. One of the guys that helped build the system that is Siege. The entire loop of why that game's so fascinating.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of speculation right there, even without seeing like a job post. They hired two guys that do multiplayer. Apparently they're going to do multiplayer next time.
Yeah.
Which they already had a multiplayer studio. They closed down in England. Guerrilla Cambridge. They had made the Vita Killzone game, and they also made that Riggs, the VR shooter that came out at the launch of PlayStation VR.
I don't think I've ever seen
it was a smaller studio in England because
okay.
I want to say Guerrilla Games is like from like Holland.
Yes, something like that.
They're Dutch.
It's somewhere over in that part of the world. So the next bit of news we have, last little bit of news we have, is that we finally got confirmation on the Walking Dead game, and it's going to be Skybound is finishing it up.
Yeah, so apparently Big Papa came in and said, hey, my company started a games division. We're going to negotiate these rights out and try to hire on people from Telltale to go ahead and finish the last 2 episodes of The Walking Dead final season.
Did they say they're trying to hire people? I hadn't seen that. That's what I was looking for.
Like, that was the statement of... Let me find the little post here.
I have it
that
here. We're so happy to announce that we've reached a deal with Telltale Games that will allow Skybound to continue # The Walking Dead, the final season. Let's wrap up Clem's story. Right, more details to come soon. Let me open up their Twitter.
Yeah, so here's another part of like they announced at New York Comic Con. Hi there, New York Comic Con. Kirkman confirmed that Skybound has taken ownership of Telltale's The Walking Dead final season and will finish the season. Skybound will work with members of the original Telltale team to finish the story in the way the fans deserve.
This is best case scenario.
Yeah, this is about as good as it can get. For the handful of people they can, bring on to do the work needed. Because not all 270-something people are coming back. Because right before this news popped at New York Comic Con. Another one of the teams from the skeleton crew of Telltale Games got laid off.
Right.
And it's like, man, that's just like, that's got to be sad just seeing another like small group of like cubicles stand up with all their shit and walk out the door. It's like, who's going to be the last man standing? Telltale Royale.
What is Skybound Games made? Because I see on here Slime Rancher and The Long Dark.
Yo, I think they publish and fund.
Yeah.
I don't think they're actual developers.
Interesting.
So they're kind of like, you know, like Annapurna Interactive and Devolver. They come in and get games made. They don't make games.
Yeah, okay, so they published Slime Rancher and The Long Dark. Due to the collapse of Skybound Games will take on the task of finishing up the 2 episodes. So they must have a team. Or I guess they're building a team.
Yeah, it looks like they're, you know, contracting out people.
Huh. Yeah, I mean, this is best case scenario. I don't know that the game is going to be better because Skybound is involved. I think it's not going to be... This is just best case scenario to get it finished.
Yeah, because Skybound is the original parent company that owns the Walking Dead franchise anyway.
Yes, but I seriously doubt that we're going to get another season after this with a new engine like we were supposed to. I bet Skybound just has the rights to finish this final season.
Well, no, this was going to be the last thing for the Walking Dead period.
That's right. You're right. But we're not getting a new...
There's not going to be a season 2 of The Wolf Among Us.
Right. That's more of what I meant. Yeah, we're not getting a new Telltale engine with these new Telltale games.
But yeah, this is kind of... I mean, it is a good thing for both, you know, Skybound to want... Like, this is nothing but positive for Skybound.
Yeah, that's true.
Because this is their property. There's a lot of fans involved in this. You know, like, this is a small investment to, you know, both look good for their company and, you know, have a product they can sell and make their fans happy. You know, it's a win-win for everybody. It's just still, you know, unfortunate the entire scenario in the first place to lead to this.
And this is something I mentioned on the podcast before. Like, when these 2 episodes are said and done and people make money, obviously a lot of that money is going to Skybound. But when that money goes to Telltale, who gets it? Like the former CEO? How does that shit work? That's so weird.
I mean, so Telltale still hasn't
closed, but it will.
Well, they haven't filed for bankruptcy.
Okay.
So that's what makes this really weird. So, like, if they were to file for bankruptcy, that's when it's just like, okay, everything's flushed, everybody's fucked. Since they haven't filed for bankruptcy, they probably, like, any money coming in is probably, you know, paying out the severance packages they had for the people at top that had guaranteed, you know, payouts. And then the majority of that money is going to be going to the debtors, the people they owe money to.
Right. But then any positive cash flow, I just wonder where that goes.
I mean, they're like, who knows how deep in debt.
Oh, that's true.
They're never going to sell enough to go positive cash flow.
That's scary. That's sad.
Because The Walking Dead is currently delisted now. You can't buy episode 1 or 2 of The Walking Dead final season.
Oh shit! Like everywhere?
It got pulled from all marketplaces like last week.
Oh, okay. I missed that.
So yeah, there is no current cash flow at all.
So I guess once Skybound releases stuff, they'll probably have to put that stuff back up.
It'll probably be published under Skybound.
Yeah.
And have a whole different deal.
Yeah, I guess.
Because essentially, it looks like they just came in and bought back their own rights.
Yeah. Maybe, or they just got permission. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even think they need to buy the rights. They just needed permission to finish making it. And once the company goes away, yeah, those rights will go back automatically. So who knows? They either just got, permission, some kind of signed contract, like, hey, yeah, you're going to end up with these rights anyways. At this point, I'm just kind of speaking out my ass.
Speaking of rights, also, just real quick, of like the beautiful thing of Andrei Sapkowski, the guy who created the Witcher franchise.
Oh, right.
Coming in and saying, hey, like, my lawyers are showing up. We're suing for $16 million. That's back royalties for everything you own me. And I was directed to find an interview that Vice had done. I found this. And then also heard Austin Walker, the guy who runs Waypoint for Vice, their gaming content coverage.
Yeah.
They did an interview with both Andrei Sapkowski and the Russian guy who created Metro, and kind of asked them both like their opinions of like how was this experience for you of selling your baby to be made into a franchise that's a successful video game franchise. And even then, before Sapkowski sued, this is like a year or so ago, like he was still like, fuck them, he was mad.
Yeah.
And then the other guy's like, hell yeah, man, like I sold way more books in way more languages than I ever expected after these games came out, because people actually care about this franchise now. And he was like, fuck you, Andre, like you're stupid, you're a miserable cunt. Like like he was just like shit talking the other guy directly to his face, essentially, for being like just a grumpy fuck. Like you fucked up. People care about your franchise now.
Yeah.
Like take the positives and how much money you're still making now out of royalties on your book.
I wonder if he's even tried negotiating with them, like not with a temper tantrum.
Well, because like I want to say like translated into US dollars, like they just did like a one-time payout for like around $10,000.
But from what I understand, they wanted to give him royalties.
Yeah, they said, "Hey, man, we'll give you royalties." Yeah. Like, no, this is a fail, because this is shortly after like the Polish TV series had come out.
There's a TV series?
It's called Hexer, I want to say.
The fuck?
Yeah, like it failed miserably.
Huh.
And no one cared about. I think that series was on like Amazon Prime or Netflix for a while at one point.
Weird.
But yeah, like the TV series failed and nobody liked it. And he's like, "Nah, fuck it, pay me now. Like, miss me with that royalty bullshit. Pay me now."
That's almost so you don't believe in your own product almost.
Well, he just didn't believe in their skills to make it.
Well, I don't think he knows anything about video games, from what I understand.
Yeah. And then also, like, the beauty of CD Projekt Red is that they made, like, this dark, weird, like, long-winded, fantasy version of traditional Polish folklore.
Yeah.
It more palatable. Like, it made it easier for people to actually want to, engage with it, because it gave you a tool to actively have to engage with it by making decisions,
and I mean,
by making choices.
Is it shitty that he's not making more money than he is on the Witcher franchise? Like, yeah, kinda, but it's also what he agreed to.
But yeah, the interesting thing is, like, in at least Poland, I think, or if not, like the wider EU, there's a law placed to essentially say, hey, I got fucked on this trade deal. Let me go back in and renegotiate. like there's legal precedent for him to actually get paid out on this if it gets approved through court. So it's gonna be something to look forward to, because people also kind of started asking about, well, what's up with Cyberpunk? Because Cyberpunk's a board game, and then if you go like check out Cyberpunk, like the actual Cyberpunk YouTube, the official channel from CD Projekt, like Mike Pondsmith, the guy who made that thing, is like doing the narration interviews for like all their shit. Like the guy who created it is their front-facing spokesperson for Cyberpunk 2077.
Oh wow!
I think they're okay. I think they have a much better, healthier relationship with Mike than they do with Mr. Sepkowski.
Well, it sounds like they wanted to have a healthy relationship with him in the beginning.
Yeah, he was just like, "No, fuck you, pay me."
And just
now
the
he's
way
like, "Hey."
this guy is, I can't help but wonder if during those negotiations they were like, "Well, royalties." He'd be like, "Video games are for douchebags. No, pay me now, you fucking like, all right, fuck you." Like, they just wanted nothing to do with them. So maybe this is all his. This is really all his doing in multiple layers.
Well, also, I don't think he understood that this company was going to have a successful first game and then create a business deal with the entire country of Poland to turn GOG into a full-time business.
Yeah.
And be a multi-million-dollar company that's run now for 10 years because they've got the 10-year anniversary currently going on for GOG.
But that's why you don't just assume people are going to fucking fail. It sounds like he just kind of assumed they were going to fail or not do as well as they could. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he just assumed he was going to get more money up front out of the payout than he would over years of slow royalty checks.
So, that's his fault. All right, well, I think that's it for what we've been playing, the news, all that good stuff. Thank you for listening, guys. Trollbeard, where can they find you?
Just the name you see there, the old Trollbeard with the underscore. I'm in most places under that. Here on Twitch, I bullshit all the time. Stop by, say hi if you're interested. That's my PSN name. Play a bunch of Fortnite. Send me a friend invite if I got a chance. Empty spot. I'm always down to play with new people. And on Twitter, I bullshit there too. Trollbeard with the underscore.
And you can find me on Twitter, BestintheRealm, Facebook, BestintheRealm Gaming, YouTube, BestintheRealm, Twitch.tv/BestintheRealm on Mixer as well. You can find this content, this podcast on the FewTrueVillains Mixer. No, it's BestintheRealm Mixer still. It's the FewTrueVillains YouTube channel. And you can find my content and Troll stuff and Bob and the Larp Brothers and, little spoiler here, me and Brian are getting ready to do some pretty cool Nerf shit. We're going to be taking apart some Nerf guns, repainting them and whatnot. So nerd levels at FewTrueVillains are about to escalate. I'm excited about it. And if you want to see all this stuff and you want to see more of it, check out our Patreon, patreon.com/FewTrueVillains. But all this stuff you can find on FewTrueVillains.com. That's FewTrueVillains.com. Thank you for listening, guys, and I hope you liked all the new fancy videos and stuff. I spent way too much time on them. So enjoy them. Do it. Bye.